Hello, and I'm Jamie Ruby. Welcome to Sci-Fivision presents Fandom Access. We have special guest Nathan D. Simmons here today for from. That's
Yeah,
always a
from.
mouthful. But thank you for coming. Welcome. Um, for anybody who doesn't know, which you should by now, if you put your questions in the chat for Nathan, we will ask them when we get to them. They'll pop up, and we'll pick some and put them on the screen for everybody to see. So thank you for coming. To start, why don't you talk about did you know how far in advance did you know like the crazy stuff this season that was coming? Let me ask you that.
Ah,
We'll start with that one.
oh, that's a good question. Let me count the episodes out. One, two, three, four. So uh, I would have known about a week before we shot. No, 4 days before we shot.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, yeah, 4 days. Because I actually like before the crazy started happening, I thought my character was gonna go a whole different route, and so I was extremely surprised by what happened in this particular episode, especially with me and Fatima at the very end. I was like, what? Isn't she my proxy? But yeah, I think that's just like the way that the show is run. Like you get your scripts like 2 weeks before, sometimes within a week, and then yeah, then you go to camera with it, right? So yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You want to go, Karen? Go ahead.
Yes, I would like Nathan. What is Elgin doing? Oh my God. He all season I've been, so Elgin he's such a good guy. He's
Yeah,
I feel like the visions he's having, I felt have been a little different. He's a force for good. And now, I mean, you can't acknowledge this, but now I feel like he got tricked by the town. Um,
what?
I,
You know,
I,
what do you say?
I feel like he got tricked kind of the way Sarah was tricked.
Mm,
I feel like Elgin really believes what he's doing is the best thing and will save everyone. But
yeah,
Sarah believed that killing Ethan would save everyone, right?
yeah,
I'm like, oh, did Elgin get tricked? Oh no.
yeah. And I think you could think that Elgin got tricked, or you can be on my side, join my team, and believe that me and Sarah are different because like I was actually speaking to someone. It wasn't a voice, like it was somebody that I could feel and touch, right? And Elgin hasn't been wrong in the past. That's also very important. Elgin has not been wrong in the past at all. I saved
Fair,
how many people?
fair. Yep. Elgin knew even before the tree, right? Elgin was
Yeah.
vomiting even before the tree. So, all right, I'll come around. I'll come around.
Please, yes.
Let me add on to that though. Do you think that he's questioning her, or is he just kind of all gung ho? That was kind of my question.
I think after repeated signs, um, in the past especially, I feel like maybe it's pride, maybe it's uh, a naive trust in the town or what he believes is his purpose. But I do believe he is like gung ho fully. I don't really think he's questioning anymore. Um, yeah,
All right, fair.
yeah,
I think the audience is worried, even if he isn't.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
yeah.
So, what has been your favorite thing since you've joined the show? I know for us, we really enjoyed the scene with you and Julie when you guys were going through the trunk and when you found the Polaroid camera and everything. That was a really fun scene that we enjoyed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, I can't talk about my favorite scene yet. It's to come still. But yeah, so far this season, that is definitely yeah, my favorite season. I also actually, you know what, my favorite time on set so far has to be the scene when Randall was pulled inside of Colony House. I think that was it because I was there. I wasn't used, but I was there and I was just watching, and like it was one of the most realistic, like the way even the sound, the special effects put everything together, with Nikki getting shot and then Randall coming through, like it just felt very, I guess, realistic, and everybody there were like just in the moment, right? It was one of the first things we shot when we started filming, and it was just like, yeah, it was amazing to just be around that energy.
Do you guys do that as a cast? You hang around it and like watch each other's scenes that you're not in sometimes?
Yeah, yeah. Especially when like we get the scripts like 2 weeks before we go to the camera with that block or whatever. And if there's a scene we want to see, like a lot of people come and like just hang out, especially if you finish working that day. Um, yeah, a lot of people just watch to see like the scenes we're excited to watch, right?
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask, when you were down in Colony Basement with everything that's down there, the trunk and everything, I don't
Mm.
know if you guys went through more than we even saw on there, but do you, and you may not even know the answer to this, but do you know if the stuff down there, any of it is important? Because I know a lot of people are like pulling, a lot of the people like me that are deep diving into it are like pulling clues out of the background and everything else. Did they say that anything in there like is important that you know of, or do you just not know, or
Uh,
can you not tell
well,
me?
they kept that so quiet for us. It was really just like get in and shoot it. And I was like, what is all the stuff doing down here, right? But
There's a
I
lot
also
of
do
junk.
know, yeah, I also do know like they, I think they're very deliberate with, like we also show with things they put around and stuff like that. I don't think they just chuck things in to chuck it. And I do know Jack is very particular with what like even like what is on a piece of paper too, right? So I'm thinking maybe there is something important there. I on the day though, I was just like just trying to focus on what I had to do, and also me and Julie were just playing around for like hours, just having fun, cracking jokes and things like that, right? So yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat. If I look away, it's good looking at the chat. Golden Child says, "Does the kimono lady use mind control on Elgin, or is he making this decisions because he thinks he's doing the right things?" I don't know if you can see it on the screen or
Ooh,
not. That's why I'm
I
reading
do.
it.
Yeah,
But
I see that. Golden Child. He's making decisions because he believes what he's doing is helpful, right? He believes he's helping someone else again, right? Um, like even I think what episode was that? Episode 7, I believe, where Kimona woman said, or 6, Kimona woman said to help me, to help me instead of whispering. So I think I was like, oh wow, this person's actually trapped. This person's stuck. Like I can actually help them. There's something I can do, right? So
does
yeah.
she have a name, by the way?
I had
Just
no.
because
I
we
had
just
no.
keep saying kimono woman, it sounds funny. I just
It
wonder.
is so funny. I'm wondering to Kimona. What is her? I don't know. I have no idea what her name is. Um, no, no, not that I know of. No one said anything about her name. I
Okay,
guess.
so you don't call her a
I,
nickname or something when you're talking about it. I just wondered. Go ahead,
yeah.
Karen.
What's her name? Her name's Kimono Lady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kimona
Yeah,
lady.
kimono lady,
Exactly.
kimono
there you
woman.
go.
First name
Same
Kimona,
thing.
last name lady. Very common.
Mhm. When you work with her, like I've noticed a lot of the shots, like we see Kimono Lady, we see Elgin, he sees
Hmm.
her, but we don't really see them. Are you like performing against an actor who's a like I don't know how much of that is a practical effect on that person that we see, a CGI effect? Are you working with a person?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I'm work. Yeah, absolutely. The Kimono lady's real name is Shin. That was her real name, and it's completely different. It's completely like CG. They did a good job. Like when I watched the show, I was like, "Wait, who was that?" It looked nothing like the person that I was acting with, right? So, yeah. Only thing, the hands. The hands were like Patrick made them like they're like 100% like authentic. Everything else was CGI'd. So yeah, she looked nothing like that on the day either. So I got to enjoy the scariness or the weirdness of her.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see. Just Me says, "Will we see Elgin's story unfold? It seems like he has more time with the kimono lady that we haven't seen."
yeah. Definitely, just me. Yes, yeah. See a lot more. There's a lot more to come. I think you can, Jamie. I think you might have seen some future hints, but yeah, the rest of the season is it's amazing. Yeah,
It's quite
it is
crazy.
incredible. Yeah, it's incredible.
Um, AJ, I don't want to talk over you.
No, go ahead. I
Um,
lost my
Like,
train of thought.
like,
Well,
like,
I was so it was interesting to me to see this week that we didn't really see Elgin react to Tilly's death, and I felt like Tilly has been a person that he's a little bit closer to. Someone
Mm.
understands him. Like I almost wondered the town killed Tilly to get her out of the way, like the demon baby or whatever it is. Like
Yeah,
had Fatima killed Tilly, was Tilly was maybe a little too, I don't know, she was a friend to both Fatima and Elgin. But I was we didn't get to see Elgin really react to he seems to me, I don't know, but he seems like a person who is sensitive and feels things deeply. And I wonder if we will see how he might be affected of like that's the first person he's really lost since he's been in the town.
yeah. Um, yeah. There's some more things I can speak on, but I think that'll be like something I could talk on in the next coming weeks. But one thing I noticed, I do know from my prep and working is that like he does have a connection with Tilly, right? And I do actually agree with you too, Karen. Like the island, or sorry, island there go lost again. Like the town is trying to kill Tilly. I feel like it is targeted because first you had the tarot cards trying to read the future for Fatima, and now you have her trying to mitigate the situation with the baby. So trying to get rid of her, and I think like Elgin didn't have time really to process what's happening because the minute he seen what was going on, the camera went off, right? This kimono lady started talking to him again about the next directive, the next mission that he has to go and do. So I feel Elgin is also kind of in a headspace of, all right, cool. If I actually do these things, I finish my objective, I finish my mission, then like all of this, Tilly dying, all these people, the people losing food, all the sadness and trauma will be worth something, right? So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it?
So even though you're on the show and you know a little bit more than the audience, I know they keep you guys as much in the dark as they can, even though you guys are a little bit ahead of us. Have you had any theories about what's going on that have been debunked, or that you still have a theory that's still going for now, or?
Oh, yeah. I got a few. I have a few theories. I can't say nothing. I don't want to say nothing right now. But yeah, I have a few theories. And even some theories that I developed like watching it after reading the scripts a few times, like then watching it again. There's some other things like I was like, wow, actually, this could be a thing now. So yeah, it's fun. But usually I gotta say, people who are out making theories and like day one theories that maybe start to come true or whatever, I'm like, wow, how did they know this? Like, I'm on the show and I'm clueless to most of this stuff going on. So yeah, I think a lot of the fans definitely even have a foot up on us. I think we're just so consumed about the few lines that are on the paper, right? But
they're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So obviously, you can't say the outcome of what happens with him taking Fatima, but we know he's taken her to this room, and it isn't what is in alignment with obviously what Boyd and Ellis want. I'll talk right eventually. I mean, do you think after that they can forgive him for what he's done? Can town for? I mean, we don't know exactly what's happening, but can it go back to the way it was? I guess because I feel like he might have passed a point of no return.
Yeah, that's a I don't know. I feel like both. I believe that definitely, like going forward, the town is going to be shaken up because Boyd is also harboring like a murderer, right? So it's going to be interesting how this all comes together. How people's reaction with Fatima. Are people going to forgive her? People going to forgive Boyd? Where Elgin ends up in the mix of all this too. Like I think that's really interesting and gets me excited for future episodes and also hopefully a new season. But yeah,
I was gonna say you don't know yet though.
No.
All
I wish
right.
I did.
I mean, that's kind of a good point, Jamie, because there were two ways Elgin could have approached this. He could have gone to Fatima and said, "Oh, so you seem to have a monster baby. I've been talking to this kimono lady, and she told me like
This is a safe place for you."
Or he could just kidnap her and lock her in the basement. And he chose he chose not to try to explain to her or convince her. He chose a violent, really kind of a violent, the most traumatic, the way to traumatize her the most, I guess. Not that he's trying to traumatize her, but he chose the more difficult and damaging path. And that kind of, I don't know, like nobody talks to each other in this town, I guess is part of the problem, right?
Yes, true. You know what, but Karen, I gotta say, I think I took the more expedient path, instead of like, I feel like I intercepted just in the right time. Boyd and Ellis were going down to the sheriff's station and, coming back to either run away or Dawn was going to grab Fatima and chuck her in the, but I feel like I came in just the right time instead of having to like talk to her for, God knows how many minutes. I kind of just took her and put her in her place where she's safe, where like, she's not going to be killed because, like no one knows where she is. And like, the baby will get born. Like that, I think that's
Yeah, but see,
it's,
Elgin didn't say you'll be safe. He said this is the only way the baby will be safe. He didn't say
yeah,
this is the only way you and the baby will be safe.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think both. A child needs its mother, right?
But yeah, unless it's a monster. But anyway, also we got questions piling up in the chat. Jamie and AJ.
I was just going to say, because he made me wonder, out of curiosity, you said about him hiding her and how she murdered Tilly. Does he actually know? I don't know if like kimono woman told him that she did it or not. Do you know if he may not? You may not even know if he knows. But
Yeah, he may not know, but I know after seeing Tilly dead in there and then getting directions to go and grab Fatima, I think he kind of
considering she's hiding out in the shack.
Yeah. I think he might have put two and two together. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Golden Chad says, does Elgin have any type of backstory to his character before he arrives in Fromville?
No, not yet. Yeah, I don't think there has been time for Elgin in particularly to even talk about like who he was before he arrived to town. I think it's just everything's been traumatic. Even since like the beginning of this season, that he still hasn't slept, right? So he hasn't really had time to just settle. So I do still think that maybe sometime in the future, when he has time to just settle and come to terms with where he is truthfully and who he is, I think then we can discover more backstory. But no, he has no time yet.
Do you have to kind of make it up sometimes to be able to play it, or do you? Okay,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
really wonder that, because I would think you would need to know something, even if it's not the correct something.
Absolutely. And then maybe John would change up whatever I had in my mind. I just got to go, okay, so that was wrong. Let me just restart. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to. He has mentioned his grandmother more than once. I think that's all we know about him, is that he has a grandma.
Yeah, and he loves owls. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves owls. He's such a quiet guy. He comes across like is he kind of shy? Maybe is he kind of sensitive? He's not the most talkative guy. And we have you, and you are much more outgoing guy, I think, than Elgin.
Yeah.
Did you create that part of him? I know it's on the page that he's a quiet guy, right?
No, I think I added that in there, because I feel like Elgin, especially in the scripts, he didn't have much to say. He was in a lot of scenes but wasn't saying much, or people would say things to him and he wouldn't really respond. He would kind of give like a blasé answer or answer around whatever question was posed. But and I kind of put that in like maybe the kind of the social anxiety he has or untrustworthiness that he has to people in this place that he's in. And that's kind of what I would play on, like always not trusting the people around and trying to keep any truths or anything that he's seen or envisioned to himself so that people don't judge him or think he's crazy. That's something that I play around with a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
were you a fan of the show before being cast?
Yes, absolutely. I was working like crew on a different show, the same production company, and the show came out, and I started watching it, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is, yeah, I'm in love with the show. Like, I'm a horror fanatic too, so like it was perfect. And I love the mystery and everything, especially when I heard the creators of Lost made it too. Yeah.
Wow, we've a few of your colleagues have been on this show, and some of them have told us they didn't watch the show, and they still haven't gone back. Like Samantha was on. She's like, well, I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to know things that my character can't know.
Yeah, and AJ bet said the same thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. Like, I was obsessed with the show. That was funny because when I was so in love with the show when I got on it, it was starstruck. I remember the first person I met was Cortion. I met Cortion at a testing site before I went to set, and I was starstruck. Cortion and Pega, I believe. I was starstruck. I was like, oh my god, like I'm obsessed with you guys right now. And then had to massage my way into that. So, but it's good. Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah.
So you said that you had theories, but what's like something that you really either wanted to know that we know and we all know found out the answer to, or something that you want to know that at least to this point we don't know? Like, what's the mystery that drives you crazy? I guess don't tell whether it's solved or not. Just in general, like, what is it that you're looking forward to at some point in the future, maybe finding out?
I want to and need to know like the origin of the monsters, like where they come from, and also why they behave the way they do, right? Like I don't really think I've ever seen one run yet, and that's also something very that always befuddles me. Like why aren't they? It's always a slow chase, even though they know if they go into a building with a talisman, they can't feed or whatever. I'm very curious as to why. Like that's one thing that really that gets me enthralled into the mystery. Is this who are these monsters, right? Like where do they come from?
Yeah, you know what they remind me of? You're a horror fan. Did you ever read or see what's that Will Smith movie at the end of the world? It's based on a book called I Am Legend. Did you ever read
Legend?
Did you ever read? Did you read the book or see the Omega Man? So the book, it was based on a novel, and it was a Charlton Heston movie called The Omega Man. First, the Will Smith is the third version of it, but in the book and in the movie, they're vampires really, and they come out at night and they're like, "Come on, open the door, come on out, give up, just give up, let us in." And like the monsters in Fromville do that, right? They knock on the window, they're like, "Open up, come on." And they really remind me of this classic like horror novel from from the 50s maybe, right?
Shoot, that's crazy. Yeah,
you gotta watch the Omega Man. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm gonna watch it.
I Am Legend is good though.
Yeah, the Omega Man. I'm watching it.
And then the second one was Vincent Price. It's called The Last Man on Earth. But they're all based on I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But they're just like, that's what I wonder if the monster. I want to ask Bender, are they inspired by like those monsters from the Omega Man? Like, come on out, just open the door, give up. We're gonna eat you. Come on out.
Oh, but there is something creepy about that still. There is something creepy with that, though. I can't lie. With someone like just knocking on your door and just say, "Hey, open up. I got something for you." No, trust me. Trust me. There's something creepy with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in that town. I ain't helping nobody. I ain't letting nobody in. Let's see.
It's a little bit.
I know they've been asking stuff like this, but that's kind of with everybody. Will Elgin change his clothes?
Good question. Oh man. You know what? Hopefully in season 4, and if I'm brought back,
hopefully you'll get it. Well, hey, you tried on stuff.
He's stinking. Elgin is stinking, full of sweat, full of blood. He's stinking. Like, oh my! And I know he's chafing all the time. Those jeans are tight. He's chafing for sure. Like I hope he has to change underwear or something. Because yes, man. The amount that I sweat. I just don't remember
the bird on his shirt. That's all I
At least change the jeans. Just change the jeans. And I got a second sweater this season. I got another jacket, which was nice. But hopefully I can change the jeans at least, like just once. Yeah.
That's good. That's
oh, look at that! He has a nickname on the boards. Did you see that? They're calling him Smelgian.
Smelgian.
Oh, that's not nice.
No. I don't like that nickname. No, I don't like it. I don't like that.
I think probably everybody there stinks, though. Let's be honest. If it was real life,
Hey, Aasta won't change
bathroom,
right? Aasta won't change.
What did you say?
Aasta won't change her clothes either.
Oh, I know. We're both going to be stinking. Team stink.
Yeah. Why do they have one? They have one bathroom in Colony House to begin with. That's the problem.
That's already. And this tub looks dirty. Nobody's cleaning either.
Oh, wait. That reminded me. I knew somebody asked about the tub. Golden Child says, was Kimono Lady trying to save him or drown him in the tub originally?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Season 2.
That's a really good question. I still do believe that Kimono was trying to drown him. Yes, to drown him. Because from my understanding, from work I've done, Elgin only has only has his dreams or visions or whatever while he's asleep, and now he hasn't slept, because a kimono woman kept showing up inside of his dreams. And now that he hasn't slept, the kimono woman visits him and speaks to him, and directs him through Polaroids, for example.
Changing our tactics.
Mm-hmm. Changing tactics, yeah. But I think that's also something that piqued my interest as well. The fact that he, he doesn't sleep at all. And now, and when the kimono woman showed up, the first thing she did was try to drown him, and that caused him to wake up. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be not thinking straight just because of that. I never even thought about that.
I don't know if I can talk about scenes that were removed at all. I don't know if I can, but
well, does it tell anything from the finale? If it doesn't tell from the end of the season, I would think. I don't know though. That's up to you. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah. I'll keep that for now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Just want to know the general vibe with cast members when they revealed Julie through the rope.
Listen,
the cast wondered. That was my thing. I know a lot of people didn't care. I wanted to know. It drove me nuts.
That was insane, and there's more. Oh my gosh, it's like there's a bunch of like I don't know if I can. I say what the f moments, like what the f, and what the heck is going on. That's we're a lot of us. Our mouths were just a gape. I don't know what the word is. It was wide. We're like.
Yeah, that was a pretty big thing.
Oh yeah. That was big at first. Like that changed how we thought about everything. And then there's more too that it was just like, wow, like what is happening? Like what on earth is happening? So, yeah, I think a lot of us are reeling from.
I don't think we understand it even yet. What's happening?
Yeah, this is
Mm-hmm. Okay, and by the way, you two, if you have something you want to ask, jump in. I'm just going to the chat in between, so we're not.
Sure, yeah, get those fans questions.
Okay, Justin says, "Are we going to see Julie's Polaroid, or was that a red herring?"
Who knows?
I assume they mean down when you guys were in the basement. They didn't show the one. I'm guessing that's what they mean because I remember when people were trying to find out what it was on it.
No, I probably have a feeling probably sometime in the future you'll see it. Cause it was a special moment shared between two characters, right? So, but for now, I don't know. That's all I can say. I don't know.
That's fair. Let me ask you a question because I know there's people. We're not going to go there, but just out of curiosity, how old is your character supposed to be? Because I know characters are obviously not always the same age as the performers.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I thought you were supposed to be a teenager, but I guess I was wrong with that. It sounds like from other people's opinions.
No, I am supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a teenager going into like whatever it be after high school, university, whatever, college. But yeah, I'm supposed to. And he already had his prom, so he's I play him like he's 18. So
okay. I just wondered because I know there's, like I said, I know there's a lot of people that are like Julie and Elgin and all that, and we don't need to go there. But I just was curious because it's so hard to tell, a lot of times.
He hasn't said anything yet about his age, but 18 to 20 is about.
All right, so he's a little bit old for her. He's a little bit old for her.
You have shippers. Right. Have you been in a ship before? Like people are shipping Julie and Elgin, like
Oh, relations. That's shipping. Oh, no. See, look, I think my boy AJ done stepped in, and I heard people are shipping Julie and Randall now.
He's too old for her.
Yeah, I know. But he's a bad boy. That's the problem.
I said I figured Julie could have a crush on him as long as he doesn't have a crush on her.
But
it's okay.
There's the missing screw. Yeah.
Let's see. They're saying you need to have a beard on Elgin. You should keep the beard.
Maybe he'll finish puberty. Between now and the end of the season or whatever. Maybe I'd love to keep a beard too, but yeah.
Let's see. Swing coat creature. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, okay. I think
the monster lady who wears that coat, swing coat.
I think that's the one that was down in the cave with Victor recently.
I think she's the one who said, "Oh, Victor, if you don't stop coming down here, we're just going to make you stay."
I can't tell you anything about her. I know she's a monster and knows Victor, and has seen Victor multiple times in that cave. That's all I know.
I was going to say, I don't think you could tell us even if you didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Same thing. Acosta's first name. We can't know. If she can't tell us, then I'm sure he can't tell us.
Yeah, I have no idea. Acosta, that's all I know. Yeah, it's just Acosta. Funny. Yeah.
I think, do you guys, I don't know if Elgin has met Sarah yet because he's in Colony House and she's down in the town. But
they met in the church. You mean Sarah or you mean Acosta?
Sarah. I mean Elgin and Sarah. I feel like they both have this sort of like quiet and sweeter personality. And I feel like the town is approaching them both the same way. Like they have something in common because she gets visions of creatures who tell her to do stuff. he gets visions of creatures, tell him to do stuff. Most people in the town don't get any visions at all, right? Like there's and I feel like Sarah and Elgin like have something in common that I'm still working out in my brain what it is. But I don't think have you had any scenes together?
Yeah, we had one in the second season. I think what episode was that? We'll go through all of them. I may be wrong. I think it was episode 5, I believe. In the church, yeah, where we
in the church.
had a connection. So she told me she killed her brother. But but I do think that there are characters who are connected, more so than other ones. If that makes sense. I think, or I believe the town is choosing people to wreak their havoc internally through people who are more sensitive to what the town is going on. You know, kind of trick them and manipulate them if that's possible. But I think one of those two. But yeah, but Sarah, I think they both recognize something similar in each other, especially back in the church. And I hope we can have more scenes together. That's something I would also love to see where it can go. You know, but yeah. And I feel also, sorry, I'm talking a lot, I know, but I feel also like Sarah doesn't believe anymore if the town is telling her anything. Sarah doesn't believe that, or not, at least not as much as Elgin does. I believe Elgin, full-heartedly trusts anything that the town puts towards him. He believes that he can understand and decipher it by himself. But I don't think I can see that in Sarah anymore. But yeah, yeah.
Chocolate Beauty wants to know where you are from.
Where I'm from, I was raised in a place called Preston, East Preston, Nova Scotia. It's in Canada, far east coast of Canada. I think it's one of the oldest black communities in Canada, too. Like oldest, I think, back in the 1700s. So yeah, that's where I'm from.
I always, for whatever reason, forget you guys filming over in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Why was Elgin going back into Colony House when he bumped into Julie?
Yeah, he's sneaking around.
I don't even know the answer to that.
Why did I see you bumped into Julie?
I'm guessing they mean when he almost hit her with the poker or whatever it was he swung
okay,
at.
that part. Okay, that yes. That's what I'm sorry. Yes. And let me just think again. Hold on. Why am I? There we go. Yes, thank you. I was just still there. Everyone else was left out. I think I believe that was the only one that was still in there. Still not able to sleep because of what I've been dreaming about and things like that. But yeah,
makes sense.
Just wandering around.
Sandira is asking lots of things you outright can't answer. Let's try this one. Maybe this is more of maybe a set question. Is there a map in the diner?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a map in the diner at all. No.
Oh, there.
Where did it come from? Shoot, no. No, I couldn't. No, let's leave that one. Let's leave that last one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about this? I know you can't answer this, so maybe tell us what your theory was originally. They're asking about the man in yellow. Obviously, you can't say anything regardless.
I can't say nothing about that. Let's just
But can you talk? Can you talk theories, or you don't want to talk theory? Your own theory.
The man in yellow.
From the painting, from Victor's.
From the painting.
Or not Victor's. Miranda's painting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know that one either. I have no idea.
Okay, I didn't think you could answer that one, but.
I have no idea who that person is at all. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I shouldn't have. That's why I'm like, should I put it up? Do you know Elgin's last name, or is this like going to cost the thing? Sorry, Williams. Okay.
Yeah, Williams.
There. Yeah. There's a good answer.
I got a question. So Elgin, he's locked Fandom in the basement, where I guess he's going to keep her for a period of months. She's not very pregnant yet. I don't know how long he's going to keep her. How long he thinks he can keep the secret. I'm wondering, is Elgin prepared to deliver that baby?
I think I was hoping that when the baby starts to come, that camera's going to go off and show him in increments how to.
That's a thing that maybe he hasn't thought it through to the 9th month. Although maybe demon babies, develop faster.
Yeah, hopefully, but Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel once again, I think it's also part of the aspect of like not sleeping, right? Like I think he's not his rationality of, um, thinking things 100% through aren't exactly there because of sleep deprivation. But I think he just from trusting in this this direction, that he believes probably like it's divine, like, oh, do this, like you're chosen or something. Like I feel like that's it. He's hoping it's all going to work out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Elgin's missing? If you could give him something from the real world, what would you give him? Something to help him along besides maybe sleep medicine.
or deodorant.
Yeah.
I think I would. I think yeah. I think what would I give? Okay, okay. What would I give Elgin? I think that's a good question. I think I wish I could give him maybe something from home, something from that he can remember, like something from his grandma, even like if he could have something his grandma, like a crochet owl his grandma made, some words in a notebook from his grandma, even a photo, something to ground him more, to who he is or who he was before he got to town. That's what I wish I could give him.
That's cool. I'm looking at this. I'm like laughing. Somebody asks if he's human. I don't even know if you know that, but I know you can't answer probably either way. But
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe he's an alien. We don't know. How about this? What song was Elgin listening to on the bus coming from Fromily?
Oh my gosh, that's a long time ago. Yes.
And how about if you don't know, then what do you think he was listening to? What do you think?
Shoot, I do know the song he was listening to. It was in the first
Okay.
script, and I listened to. I don't even know that because I listened to it over and over again. I wish I could pull my playlist up. It was by a song by Billy Joel though. Yeah,
cool.
but I forget the name. Dang, I'm so sorry. I forget the name of it. But yeah, it's a good song. I liked it. I learned it on guitar and everything. So yeah.
Cool.
Given the fact he was going to Fromville, it might have been The Stranger.
Oh, was it this? No. It was. Oh.
No, I'm just saying because of the show.
Yeah, because of the show, exactly. No, but dang, what was? I love the song too. Okay, cool. But yeah.
Sorry, Karen's video disconnect. Oh, there she is. I was gonna say, try rejoining without video if it won't work. There you go. You're back.
Sorry about that. While I'm back, let me ask a quick question. So, when your colleagues have been here the last few weeks, some of your castmates have been here. Many of them confess to haunting the Reddit boards, and that some of them are like creeping on Reddit, like seeing what the fans are talking about and the theories and things like that. Since you were already a fan of the show before you were cast, do you follow online speculation? Or
I follow, what is it? I go to some YouTube, especially last year when it was over with. I think it's called Think Stories. Some person on YouTube I used to follow like a lot, and I loved his theories and stuff, and it made me believe those theories too. But the Reddit, I leave that to Hannah, and Hannah tells me everything. Yeah, like Hannah and Court, y'all can go through those and let me know what they say. Yeah. I just don't want to see any of those like things of like, oh, so terrible, worst person on the show. Oh, terrible, hate them, right? So I was like, leave those for those guys. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah. Although if people hate it, when I hate a character, it usually means the actor's doing a great job getting a reaction out of it. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. I just don't want to think, that people hate Elgin, right? Y'all don't hate Elgin, right? Like it's just
no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want people to hate Elgin, right? Because then I get in my head that people hate me. So I want everyone to believe that everybody loves me, they're on my side, and that helps me do my best work. So
you might have a problem with Fatima's army coming up.
Yeah, I guess it depends how it turns out. If he kills her or something, then maybe not, but we don't know. Let's see. Also, Big Hex says, how do you go from being sweet to psycho, and do you feel bad playing the villain? It's kind of in line with what you were saying.
Man, I love playing the villain. I guess one dream I have, and it comes from like back in school, I had a director that said he's a very sweet person, and I think, I'm so sorry. He played Othello once, and he told me, his name's Philip Aiken. He told me he played Othello, and he played the villain so well that his scene partner hated him and still won't talk to him to this day. And that's what I want one day, is to be able to do that. I just love it. It feels so good. I guess I am a sweet person. Like I'm very kind, humble. Like I'll give the shirt off my back if if you ask for it. But like, I like to also discover like what darkness is inside me, and play around in that too.
That's fair. Now, this one is more character question. So maybe this you can answer this because this is more probably your opinion what the character thinks. Do you think Elgin thinks the baby is good or evil?
Um, I believe the baby is good. I don't. I'm even now. I don't. I'm not convinced that it's supposed to be evil. I don't think there has been really anything to show that it's evil. Except for, um,
It eats garbage. It eats
yeah,
garbage.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's
yeah,
that. Blood
that's
and
true.
garbage.
But at the same time, there's no food, right? So, I assume that the baby needs to eat, right? It has to eat something. But yeah, except for killing Tilly. But even then, Fatima told Tilly go away, and she wasn't listening. So, like, yeah, I don't. I don't think the baby's completely evil. Gave a warning.
Yeah, she did give her a warning. I know this one person who comes on our show, PM. She's like always saying, "You don't touch a pregnant woman" when she says no. So,
Exactly.
so it's her fault, right? Okay.
Well, and Elgin didn't see when like Fatima's stomach like totally caved in and all the creepy like he hasn't seen some of the things she's going through.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tam C says, "Why do you think Victor doesn't trust Elgin?" And they're
Victor
referring to in the truck. I was gonna say when they first met.
Yeah, but Victor doesn't like anybody, so that's
That's a
it.
good
The only
point.
person I
That's
think he
good.
kind of likes is Catalina. Sorry, Tabitha. The only person he doesn't like that he seems to like is Tabitha. He doesn't even like Ethan anymore because he cussed him out. So
That's true. I think this is referencing filming. Are the underground tunnels where the Nkui children are and Fatima's there? Is it old bomb bunkers? I assume they mean is it filmed in old bomb bunkers? But
oh, is it filmed? And no,
at least that's what I'm
no.
taking it as because I know otherwise you wouldn't know anyway. But
Yeah, that's funny though because Halifax has a lot of like old bunkers too. But no, they should build that entirely in studio. Like it's a whole tunnel system you can actually walk through.
That's
they
cool.
built in studio. Yeah, it's really cool.
all right, cool. AJ, do you have a question? We haven't heard from you for a while.
I've just been enjoying listening to all the questions our chat people have been asking, and I've just been enjoying the answers.
Let me ask, how do you think you would do? I'll ask you that. Like, if you were in Fromville, how would you survive? Would you go nuts? Would you?
I'll kill myself. So, like, quick and easy. Like what's he face from the first season? I will hang myself. I would be done. I'll be gone immediately. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not going to call you to be on our team when the end of the world comes.
No,
Yeah.
please don't. No, please. Listen, if it's already hell, I'll take my chances and see where I go after.
I think this is a joke. I'm hoping, but I'll put it up anyway. Can you give us insight on your relationship with Kimono Lady? Are you a romantic item?
Oh my god, I do think yes, actually yes.
Oh, you
And I
do think that? Okay.
Yeah, I think the drowning in the tub is kind of like a figurative symbol of Elgin losing his virginity. No, I don't think we're romantic at all. I think
I really believed you for a second. Like, what?
You thought so?
But I
No,
believed
no.
you. So you did.
I don't think so.
I didn't know why you thought that, but I believed.
No, I do not. No, I don't think that they're
No, I do.
romantic at all.
But it
Oh,
was still
God.
funny. It was a funny fight.
She's like 80 or something, man. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have anything coming up that you're going to be featured in?
Yeah, I did it's going to be on a Canada station though, but it's called 0 to 60. It's coming up in March. It's a sitcom. A friend of mine and a comedian named Jonathan Torrance, they wrote it. It's actually based on someone we know is like first black driving school in Halifax, based off of that. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's really funny. I'm excited for that. It's called 0 to 60.
Sounds fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tam, I don't know. Again, I don't know if you can actually tell this or even know this, but it talks about the crow on your shirt. Elgin wears a shirt with a crow or a raven. Crows seem important. Do you think his shirt's important?
I do, and I have no idea why. But I also feel like it's also really really important. Yeah, like I did some ferry diving before, with something with like Norse gods or whatever. but I can't put my finger on it. But yeah, I do think that the crow in particular is important, but I don't know why.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it might be. Let me ask you this, and I will leave it up to you to say in whatever vague way you want. But is there anything that you can kind of tease that people should look for in the last 2 episodes that's coming? And I know you can't give specifics,
I
but
won't give
just
no
kind of an overall vibe, maybe. Let's say that. How's that?
The vibe I'll give is I think people are going to be extremely pissed off at the end of episode 10, and not because whatever happens, something crazy happens. I think people are pissed off because they're going to want to have the new season immediately, like more than they have in the past. Like immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting. I want more. They better get renewed. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's the worst part about these like 10 to 13 episode shows is it's good because I feel like the story is more concise with the shorter seasons. But then you have to wait twice as long for the new season. So.
You do.
Yeah,
You
it makes
do.
it hard.
Yeah.
I'm even like I'm pissed off too because I guess like it ends in like it's amazing to see. I think it ends incredible, right? Like I feel like every season has surpassed the last, and I think that trend is continuing. And I'm even hungry more for what's coming next, right? So, yeah.
I think MGM's been pretty good about regularly every year we have never had to wait 2 years, I don't think, in between. We're getting like one season a year. I'm hopeful. I know you don't know if you're renewed. I'm hopeful because the show it was always great, but it seems to have really exploded in this third season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it really did.
I can't, like, why would you cancel a hit unless you all suddenly want $1 million an episode or something?
Yeah, no, none of us want that much. We're all loving it. It's all for us, all for the vibes. No, I'm joking. That's not true. Don't quote that for anyone doing negotiations. No, it's not for the vibes, but it's fun. Yeah.
I know we can't. I don't want to keep you forever. Let me pick another one out of the chat, and we'll
fun.
start to wrap it up. Will the Fromcast attend some sort of Comic-Con in the future?
I mean, yeah. I know. They call them I'll call them the older people, the adults. I call them the adults. The adults all attended one just back in September, I believe, down in LA, I think. So hopefully, I want to go to one. I've never been to a Comic-Con, but like I used to watch Comic-Con events on YouTube, and I just think I just want to see the environment of one. One day I want to feel that environment. So maybe get to go for free. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta get invited.
Yeah.
What else was there? Oh, I know. I had one more. Let me ask you more. Like I said, I don't want to keep you forever. I know you probably got to go. But what do you think would be the first thing Elgin would do if he got back? If he was able to do what Tabitha did and went back to the real world? Other than
I think he'd go see his grandma. I think he'd see his grandma for sure. I think that's the first stop. Wherever he ends up, he'll take the next bus.
And take a nap.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. What's this?
Great.
Okay, we have one. Let me do one more, and then I'll let you go because that just popped up. Did Elgin always have premonitions, or was it just when he arrived in Fromville?
His first premonition is the one that woke him up. Yeah.
The one on the
that
bus.
woke him up. Yeah.
That's his
All
first.
right.
Okay, interesting.
Well, thank you. No, it's getting late. I think we kept you a little bit more than 45, but thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm chilling.
I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody to see the finale, and I'm sure everybody's gonna love it, even if they're mad it's over.
Yeah, man. It's good. No one, if anyone is unsatisfied, I think they need to go to therapy. Like, I think it's a good ending for real. It's you should be satisfied with it. Yeah.
I think they will.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, this was a blast. Thank you, man. I appreciate all three of you, AJ, Karen, Jamie, for real. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
And
Thank
everybody
you everybody for the questions.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good question.
And before Nathan leaves, we have some more of your colleagues coming up in the next few weeks also. So stay tuned. Jamie, who's next? Chloe?
Hannah.
Yeah, Chloe and Avery are on. No, that's next Tuesday. No, we have Hannah Friday. That's
I
Friday.
just said it.
I haven't officially announced that yet, but guess what? Hannah's coming Friday.
Hannah, all right. If you see Hannah, tell Hannah to answer her phone, okay? Tell Hannah to answer.
We will tell her. Nathan said answer her phone.
I don't know what happened. She's changed ever since episode 5 came out. Her energy's changed. It's just changed. So tell her, Hannah, answer my phone. Yeah, so that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, you two enjoy yourselves. Bye
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. All right. Go back to here. That's whoops. We don't want that.
Holy crap.
There we go. We're trying to get the one that's everybody the same size, but it's not working so well. There we go. But yeah, I'm going like off my trying to think why I'm talking. I got to look at the dates. Friday we have Hannah. I don't know how to say her last name. Cherami. Anyway, Julie. She's Friday at 9:00.
She plays
And
Julie.
then Tuesday we have Chloe Van Lanschut, who is going to be at 8:00. That's a different time, which we normally don't do. So
She plays Christy.
she had to reschedule. So, and then,
Christy.
sorry,
She plays Christy.
Plays Christy.
Yeah, plays Christy. Sorry, yeah. And then followed by Avery Conrad, who plays Sarah. That's also on the 19th. And then on the 26th, we have Elizabeth Saunders, who plays Donna. And I haven't told anybody this, but you two. And we're getting a date yet. We don't know what day it's going to be, but Peg is going to come on too. So
Pega, who
yeah.
plays Fatima.
Yeah, I never say they play. Who plays Fatima? Yeah. So we got quite a bit of people, and I'm still trying to get more. So hopefully we'll. Sorry, I'm getting hot. I'm like having a hot flash.
So stay tuned to what we announce is coming up. And if it's your first time with us, go back and see our previous interviews with AJ. What's his last name? He
Simmons.
plays Randall.
Yeah, plays Randall.
Simmons. Samantha Brown, who plays Aasta, was with us. Kenny Hay,
Ricky Hay, who plays Kenny.
Ricky Hay plays Kenny.
He was here with us.
And Elizabeth
Moy,
who plays Tian Chen. Yeah.
And
And those are all available, as are the other interviews that aren't part of our show are up on this YouTube. And any announcements, I'll eventually be able to talk. I always post it at Twitter. But right now we're going to go into our normal review recap of From. So hopefully you'll stick around and listen to us tell what we think. And yeah, and if you have comments on the show too, please put them in chat. We'll put them up and talk about it. But we hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Nathan, and thank you for all your great questions in the chat. Appreciate it.
And here's the part when we put ourselves off camera.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm turning my camera off.
We're gonna screenshot a lot of this.
Yeah.
As we talk about the episode. I'm going to remove myself from the camera because we can still see each other even if people can't see.
Yeah, that's why you turn the camera off. You might want to change your icons though, so you don't all say Sci-Fivision.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn my camera.
Thanks for sending them.
I can't figure out how to turn off my camera.
At the bottom, it's a stop cam. There we go. There you
go.
Again, it's episode 8. It's called Thresholds, which was a great name for it. And I had a much better experience this week than I did last week when all I did was complain about how much I hated every person on the show. This episode for me, you guys, had like the most jump scares that we've had in a while. Like I'm laying on my couch in the dark and I was like getting like a little tingle or a little jump now and then.
I learned something very, very, very important from this episode, and I learned it very early on. Apparently, it's okay to murder an old lady, but it's not okay to accidentally shoot somebody.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's talk about our friend Boyd. Okay, I mean, I feel like I
get kind of tired of Boyd.
I mean, Boyd's got a real. So if you're in Boyd's family and you kill someone by accident, yeah, he's really taking a totally different tack, and it's a totally different. Aasta was a true accident. We've discussed this a lot on our show in the last few weeks. It was a true accident, and we all feel Aasta shouldn't really be held. I mean, should she not be held accountable? Yes, but we really understand the circumstances. And
it was only Nikki.
Yeah, and Fatima, she kills Tilly, and everyone just he's taking her word for it that, oh, my demon baby made me do it. I guess let's just jump into this whole part of the show. I felt like when she killed Tilly, I deleted the picture we had up last week of when she of the shears actually sticking out of Tilly's chest. But Fandom was explaining it as oh, something took over. I couldn't control myself. I felt my hand reaching for it. That's not really what I saw on the screen last week, right? She just definitely it was a reaction, a violent reaction, but it wasn't she struggled at all or wasn't in control of her. To me, it didn't look like a person who wasn't in control of their body. But
yeah.
But at any rate, they just believe her, right?
Yeah.
And refuse to really take Donna's.
The thing is that I find funny is that she's the one person that kind of seemed like she wanted to turn herself in. I mean, she was saying, "Don't tell me it's going to be okay. I killed somebody," and they're oh, it'll be fine. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I think what Boyd did, just thinking that he could hide it, was not a smart move.
Well, not only was it not a smart move, but it was poorly done. The first thing, if I want to hide a murder in Fromville, the first thing I'm doing, I'm taking the body, I'm dragging it out to the woods, I'm waiting till nightfall, and hoping that the monsters eat her or do something at least. So then we could be like, oh no, poor Tilly, she was out after dark. Oh. But no, they just left her there. And I mean, what did Boyd think was going to happen? And then something really bad. I was surprised that they nipped it in the bud as quickly as they did. I really thought they were going to storm Sarah's house, but Boyd told Donna the truth first. But I was kind of looking forward to seeing that. To seeing a crazy mob go to Sarah's house and grab her and then have Boyd come in and confess that it was Fatima, and have everybody kind of slink off afterwards.
Yeah. I think that they should have either, like you said, made them think that a monster attacked it. Although probably, to be fair, if they put it out in the woods, I feel like those creatures would just not do anything just to piss them off. So I think they'd probably have to actually cut the body up to do themselves. That would be my opinion. I think what would happen if they did that. But even if they just put her body in the woods and say that she ran away during the night, or she left, or she was in pain because of her cancer and she, decided to take her own life, something other than what he did. Yeah. Because I don't think that it can stay hidden. I don't think Aasta is going to let it go. Maybe if they brought her in, but they're not going to, I doubt, because she doesn't, listen to them. Yeah. But I
like what David said in the chat, that it's possible that I mean, we know, all right, maybe Fatima didn't do it because the entity wants Tilly dead because of the tarot cards. I didn't think about that. Remember we talked about that with the crow, how we felt like the crow's timing was very interesting because Tilly was about to do the tarot reading.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thought.
Because we have so many good comments in the chat about this whole thing. I need to get my glasses on so I can see them all. But let me okay, so yeah, Boyd justified it by saying this place made her do it, which Donna is either this place made her do it or this place got to her, and either one of them is not good, right? This place made her do it. I'm sorry, Boyd, if this place made her do it, how is it a good plan to leave her unsupervised for maybe hours out in a cabin in the woods, right? No wonder she wasn't there when they got there. Boyd hasn't really, I guess Boyd's reacting and acting on the fly and hasn't really had time to make a good plan. I mean, here's a good theory, not a good theory, a good comment from David. The entity doesn't like Tilly because she had the tarot.
I just said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention. Also, someone in our chat thinks Boyd is not human. And that maybe none of them are human. I mean, this is a theory. This is the, I honestly think none of them are human outside of the Matthews, Victor's dad, Randall, and Jade. So the people who we saw come in, basically everyone who was already there. And
I think so. Yeah, a lot of people. Some people think Tilly's still sus too. So
Yeah, I mean, I think Tilly's dead, and on the show, dead people don't come back as monsters, right? So
Yeah, so far anyway that we know of.
At any rate, I think it was a terrible plan to put Fatima. Let's put her in this cat lake, and I think, Jamie, to your point, let's put Tilly in the woods. I get it, but I also think as night starts to, as it gets to be sunset, and everybody's like, okay, let's get inside Colony House. Is everybody here? Oh, where's what? Wait, Tilly and Fatima and Ellis are all not here at sunset. Like that would be like very, like, wouldn't that raise more questions? I just don't see like how. I mean, I guess we don't see this happen, but I sort of assume that they do a head count at night. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Colony House is sort of like a freewheeling kind of hippie.
Well, they've kind of lost their way. I mean, we talked about this last week, how when we first meet everybody in Fromville, they had they chain people to, to tie people to the bed the first night and kind of like initiate them in and have all these rules and everything. And everybody's gotten. I mean, it's a free for all now. So people being out and about and not around is, kind of becoming the norm, actually. And, it's interesting. I feel like, part of the reason everything's happening, I think, the way it is, because the TV show wouldn't be very interesting if we were still in those stages of the show. But I think it's interesting that things kind of started to go a little apeshit when Tabitha showed up.
I mean, so that's really our entry to the show. Oh, you mean when Tabitha came back? When Tabitha came back?
Well, no. I mean when they first got there, when Tabitha and
when
Jim,
the Matthews family arrived.
Yeah. I mean, granted, that's our introduction into the show, but you hear about how things were before that, and now all of a sudden things are like nuts.
It never snowed before. No one ever had a baby before. No,
Yeah, things are changing.
There was, during our interview with Nathan a few minutes ago, there was a comment in the chat about Fatima's pregnancy and like wanting to know how she got pregnant. Not like where do babies come from, but like how is it that finally someone's pregnant? What's that all about? It's never happened before. What is it going to start happening to other women becoming pregnant? I was thinking about that today. I was like, gee, are Fatima and Els the only people of childbearing age who are having sex? Jim and Tab probably not having sex for a whole number of reasons that we can run down. And she, Tabitha might be old enough to not easily conceive. And then, I guess I kind of assumed that, when Kenny was moving into Colony House, he said to Donna, "Oh, do you still have all those sex parties?" But Colony House,
kind of a joke.
Nobody, that's a good question. Why'd she get pregnant? What's that about? Is it about Fatima? Is it about Elgin? Is she even really pregnant? And could it happen to other people that they could get pregnant?
The one thing I was wondering, and I don't know that it matters one way or another, but if she is pregnant and we can't see it, do we really know that when she thinks she got pregnant? Because we're talking about like you were saying, is she going to be in there for months? Because it seems like she's barely pregnant now. But if we can't see the baby, maybe she's already very pregnant, and we just don't know it because we can't see it.
Yeah, but I think her belly would still be.
I don't know.
You mean she can have a big pregnant belly, but nobody can see it? It's not visible to them?
I just meant maybe the thing is not, nothing's
there's
visible.
A spell, that kind of, Jamie goes back.
Maybe she would have wondered if she was pregnant before, I don't know. I found myself wondering that. I was thinking about it.
Well, so Boyd cooks up this genius plan, right? That they're going to go stay in this cabin in the woods and have a talisman and just hide out here. And he ends up saying something to Ellis I'll bring you food what does he say? Every week or two. And if you're not here, leave me a note. And clearly whatever he says, this is a long-term plan that it's not stay here 2 days. I'll take care of it and you can come back. Right.
Right. Right. Definitely.
There's no way this woman can can last that long, right?
Yeah, I mean, he tells Ellis if he needs something to leave him a note, but yeah, I'm not sure that they can just stay out in the shack indefinitely or in a tent wherever it is he tells them to go. I mean, I kind of think the whole idea is not a great idea. I said that from the beginning.
I mean, he's desperate. So do you think? So he ends up telling Donna. This is a picture from an old episode, but I needed a picture of Donna and him together. He tells Donna pretty quickly. He gives in. I mean, granted, like Fatima has wanted to confess. Ellis is like, let's just tell everyone, they'll understand, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that was the right move on Boyd's part?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him telling Donna, but I think it shows. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I'm just going to say, I think it shows that Boyd is not really being a very good leader because, and I'm not saying he shouldn't necessarily put his family first. I mean, maybe he should, but if he's trying to be a leader, he shouldn't be putting his family first. And I feel like Donna is thinking about the town. He's not. And she's kind of like, I can't just not tell anybody. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And because my other point was, and I didn't get to this because I was answering the other stuff, but I think the problem is too why they couldn't just leave like the thing with Tilly go is because you can't have like an unknown murderer in the town. I mean, yes, they blame Sarah and they try to kill Sarah, but take Sarah out of the equation. Say they don't think Sarah did it. They still couldn't leave it that way because nobody is going to be safe in a town where they think there's a murderer because people are going to start defending themselves and start attacking people because they can't trust each other. And then they'll lose all trust in the town and it would go downhill.
Yeah, what I was going to say is because, like I said earlier, if he doesn't tell Donna, there's pitchforks going to Sarah's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I guess when push came to shove, he wasn't willing to sacrifice Sarah to save Fatima, which is the right thing, right?
Right.
And you can't say, like, Boyd has been the one person who he has been. I mean, he didn't put Sarah in the box. He has been compassionate towards Sarah. And if Boyd believes that the town made Sarah do it, and now he believes that the town made Fatima do it, he can't let Sarah take Fatima's punishment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Boyd is kind of like dense if he thinks like, we'll just tell people the town made her do it, they'll understand. I'm like, Boyd, have you been watching what's going on in the town the last 2 weeks? Like the last 2 episodes, like everyone in the town is like way on edge. And it's not, I mean, Elgin, who is a person who got stabbed by accident in a scene of remember he got stabbed, it was like during an argument and he was stabbed like in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Like Ellis. Yeah. Like these things happen in this town. Ellis of all people should maybe know that like everyone's on edge, and I don't know. Ellis is kind of that guy. I don't know, but
let me ask you guys a question because this is something we talked about on our Sunday stream. Do you think they should get rid of the box? Because I feel like the box is a deterrent, so it is supposed to scare people into listening, but they don't have an intent to use it. Does it make things worse having it there? I mean, do you think they should just get rid of it?
Simply because Ellis actually brought it up this episode. He said they're going to put her in the box, and Boyd was like, nobody's going in the box.
Well, that's kind of my point. If you don't have a box, nobody can go in the box. But I guess it's still hopefully serves its purpose.
You know what? Not that has anybody ever gone in the box?
Yeah, that guy in the first episode who got drunk and the monster.
Oh yeah. You know what? I forgot about him.
Frank said that he should go in the box. Boyd was like, you don't got to go in the box. And Frank was like, yeah, I do. I deserve to go in the box. And that guy had already suffered. I mean, he suffered enough, but I think he probably wanted to die at that point anyway.
True.
Well, he should do a Nathan D. Simmons and kill himself and not not go in the box. But death by boxes, suicide by boxes. Ugh. But yeah, that guy wanted to be punished. But he goes in the box like in the first or second episode, right? And it hasn't been used since.
Yeah, Golden Child's asking, didn't he destroy the box? I don't think he destroyed the box. I think that the creatures kind of ripped it apart, but I think it's supposed to still be there, isn't it? I mean,
I guess
Elens wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't.
Yeah, I haven't heard otherwise.
Maybe the box has to be rebuilt. Like, I get it that the monsters would have to rip it apart to get to you because you're not going to be like, sure, let me open the door, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they just have to, like, it's not that strong a box and you just rebuild it. But at any rate, it's a terrible plan. And the only person who retains any sense in the whole situation is my girl, Donna. And Donna says, like, I mean, the other reason Boyd came clean, Donna said, if you don't tell everyone, I will.
Yeah.
And she gives Boyd a short lecture where he's like, they accepted Sarah. And Donna's like, are you kidding me? They didn't accept Sarah? They just went along with it because you made them, not because. And when she says, Boyd, they don't believe in you. I mean, that's something that I guess we haven't really talked about it, but it's been kind of obvious for a while now.
You would think, though, after what happened with Dale, that they maybe would listen a bit better.
No.
Just because he was trying to say, this is why I'm giving you rules, but I agree with her. I don't think they do believe in the same way. I thought they would, and then they didn't.
You know what?
They should put him through the faraway tree instead of the box.
Think of it like this, though.
Roll the dice, right?
Think about it. The three of us don't trust Boyd's decision making anymore. So what do you think? How do you think the people in town feel about him?
Yeah.
It kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, we're feeling what the town is feeling. I mean, it's kind of how this always goes.
Yeah. It's like a situation. So we don't want to talk politics on this program, but you know how rule of thumb in the American elections is like whoever the party in power takes responsibility for the economy. If the economy's bad, the president is losing. It doesn't matter if you were if you're Ronald Reagan, if you're, I don't know, Jimmy Carter, if you're anybody, like it's like the situation is bad. They just don't trust Boyd. Boyd could have really good rules. Boyd could be a good sheriff. He's not right now, but people are terrified and Boyd doesn't have answers and they just don't trust him anymore. And they just want a new sheriff who has answers. Maybe. I mean, they're not trying to depose him as sheriff, but they don't. I mean, I think that's partly why they have lost faith in him. They're terrified and he doesn't have answers.
But he hasn't. But he hasn't been like his usual reassuring self either. Boyd's definitely lost a step.
He's very shouty, right?
He's very shouty, and he's not trustworthy anymore. I mean, the people see, he kind of plays sides.
Yeah. David says that Boyd was the old hero, and Tabitha and Jade are the new heroes.
I love that.
I do too. I think maybe people would listen to them. I think somebody does have to step up. I don't know that it would be them, but I think somebody needs to.
Well, and if you follow David's comments, David has done a lot of thinking about the hero's journey in literature and like if these characters are if you follow the hero's journey and you could argue that not argue, but like the Chromonocle is a hero's journey, right? Like the book that it's a quest. And so I love that these two are the new heroes. I also think it's quite telling that the new heroes, we're going to talk about this in a bit, Tabitha and Jade, are the only people who talk to each other. And therefore, they are getting answers when nobody else is.
Yeah.
Right? Like Boyd has not really come clean about everything that happened to him in the tower, in the well, right? Like he showed up with some worms, but he hasn't really like if I went to Fromville, I would be like mandatory meeting 4:00 every day or 9:00 every morning. We talk about all the crazy shit that went on last night and we all trade information, but nobody, right? There's no like,
well, I think people are afraid to even like Nathan said earlier that like Elgin ain't going to tell people he has visions. Nobody wants to, they're too scared to. I don't blame them.
Yeah. And yet everybody at this point, nothing should surprise anybody. Like, okay, you don't want to tell me you have visions? Like 5 other people have already said they have visions, right? Jade tells everyone he has visions. Victor
I think he tells Tabitha, and he's told some people. I don't think he's like randomly told everybody in the town.
Hard to say, right? We don't see everything.
Yeah, but random Joe may not know people are having visions and probably is afraid to say anything.
I don't know, but there are monsters. Like, why would it surprise you? Monsters come out every night to kill people.
Yeah. Nothing would surprise me in that town,
Yes.
I
think
no one is going through the previous resident stuff in the diner. That's strange. That's a good point. I would be because they found that book with the symbol. Maybe there's something else, interesting in there,
including Elgin, who could get some clothes in there.
All
the clothes are down there.
Elgin.
No one.
Check the PMs, guys.
Yeah, right. Nobody. So I think Boyd is really coming to a crisis point. Like, I don't know how Boyd can continue on without some sort of a moment of insight, a breakdown. Like, he's at his breaking point, which is what this whole season has partly been about the town trying to break Boyd. Break other people, break a lot of people, but they have said they want to break. Like, the monsters were like, we're going to break you, right? They told him that.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting close. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean,
I think he's definitely closer to breaking. Yes, I think he's. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a monster grandchild. That might be rock bottom. I would like to see. I think Don. If he would rely on Donna more. Donna's his. Does he have a best friend in town? Donna's his partner in running the place, or maybe he needs to cede authority to her. Although she doesn't really want it. She wants to be in charge of
you know what? I think the person that needs to step up is Kenny. I think Kenny needs to step up. He's kind of, I like the little investigation that him and Aasta were doing, and I love Aasta when she's like, "Wait, you have somebody that's killed people walking around town?"
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, "Well, it's complicated and it's different," and she's like, "How?" Right. And honestly, I know Karen had a big problem with Aasta last week, and she's a little overblown, but Aasta might actually be exactly what they need. Because she doesn't know anybody. There's nobody for her to play favorites with. But I think Kenny needs to be the one to step up and have Aasta with him, because I think it's a good dynamic, because I think while Kenny is friendly with everybody, Aasta doesn't know anybody. She can just look at the facts of things.
Yeah,
and maybe that restores order.
Just me. This is just in regards to what we were saying. Thinks Ellis dying would break Boyd. I do think that too. I think that would break Boyd because he already lost his wife.
He didn't lose his wife. He had to kill his wife.
Well, yes. You're right. That's even worse.
Which, in fact, he lost her.
They also think Aasta is going to step up. They agree. Miss Quinn is on the shipper train, I guess, with Kenny and Aasta.
Kenny's still in love with Christy.
Yeah,
he knows he can never be with Christy, but he's still in love with Christy.
Okay, let's see. Sandira says, I don't think Kenny and Aasta will play a much bigger role outside of trying to assert herself as the new sheriff because Boyd's preoccupied. Yeah, she might find an in the way he's acting,
I mean, I think, it was pointed out this week, you can get some new clothes, and she's like, was it this week or last week? And she's like, no, I'll stick. I mean, I think she's wearing that uniform around the town because she is trying to if she's trying to usurp Boyd, she's definitely trying to assert authority, she's wearing that uniform around definitely to be like, I'm the cop, right? Like, it's not like it's comfortable Lycra leggings that she's wearing around. She's got it looks very uncomfortable. Cops always look uncomfortable to me in their clothes.
Yeah, it does.
She's wearing it for a reason. And that reason is
Miss Quinn thinks Aasta is going to be creature food. That may be the case too. Then maybe we won't have to worry about her being assertive, right?
I mean, we've had several disagreeable people become creature food. The problem with my theory there is that every single person has become disagreeable in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, she hasn't really, like, right now she's a little bit of a red shirt. She hasn't
done enough yet, but I don't think we've seen enough of her yet. We need sort of more.
Yeah.
We haven't. I mean,
The more we see her, though, the more she does.
Yeah. Let me bring this up just because Miss Quinn's saying something I hadn't even thought of. That's a good point. Do you guys agree with that? It says colony houses for all the people who've lost their hope and resigned themselves to their fate, where the town is for those fighting with hope. I never really thought about it, but I guess because they do live so differently between the two. That's a good point.
I mean, so
thank you, Miranda. Miranda, thank you. Greatly appreciated. I'm assuming you're the Miranda that left it during my other show, so thank you. Appreciate it.
I think that, it's funny because like we saw Julie chose Colony House initially because she was pissed at her. She was like upset with her parents and wanted some distance from them. I don't really understand why Elgin chose Colony House or Tilly or like I'm not.
Were they ever even asked? We never saw a ceremony, so we don't know.
Well, we saw Julie was asked.
No, Julie, yes. But I mean, after that, we never saw anything after that point of who chose what.
No, but also like 30 people showed up at once and maybe they couldn't really like have a choice, right?
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't really a choice.
Yeah, like it was all
other than Randall, who they told to stay in the bus.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. I get that about the town. I mean, the town I feel is definitely more proactive in trying to find answers, make rules, have a system. And Colony House is like, we're up here doing whatever, but we will come down here every day, right? Like we'll come like they benefit from the structure the town is providing, but they don't want to. In that sense, I'm like, okay, freeloaders, like you live up there in Colony House. I mean, granted, they're growing all the food up there, right?
Yeah, and the pot.
Yeah, they are. It's funny, the people who are dying, Nikki lived at Colony House, Dale lived at Colony House, Tilly lived at Colony House.
Huh.
Not safe to live at Colony House.
Yeah.
Everybody
didn't,
but she was really killed for a more specific reason, right? She was killed to hurt Boyd.
Yeah, that's true.
But Colony House has become a dangerous place to people.
Well, the other thing is too is that Tilly and Nikki were not killed by creatures either; they were killed by humans.
You could argue that Tilly was killed by a creature, maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe, kind of. Was
Dale
killed
was
by
killed.
maybe somebody was forcing her, but I guess it's still her.
Killed by the town, right? Like other people went through the tree and didn't wind up inside a wall.
Yo, he said he'd be poolside, so.
Yeah, that's we go back to manifesting again, and I really wish in a way that and I know they're not going to, but like, was that why he ended up in the pool, or was that really just to be kind of a smart ass comment? I mean, it's more like this was a smart ass funny comment.
I think that was a smart ass writer joke. I don't. I don't think the town is like. I mean, we've seen the town. I really believe the things you say the town manifests, but I don't think that was. Situations like Fatima saying, "I don't want to see the baby," and then it doesn't appear on an ultrasound. Although, I mean, that's an interesting question. It doesn't appear in an ultrasound. So are there other like things that don't, like, are the monsters like, I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm thinking of, but if the baby is a monster and it can't appear on ultrasound, what does that mean for the monsters in general, or I don't know. I mean, she appears to be legitimately really pregnant with something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it means. There's a lot of theories about the visibility of the
trying to see. Somebody said something about Fatima's baby before. I was trying to find it. I lost it.
We can scroll back to it.
Yeah.
Well, David posited that Fatima's baby represents like a.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's a point in the hero's journry.
Oh, no. Was saying that, Fatima's bone, they think it'll only show up when she's in the bunker. Or she's calling it the bunker. She means the root cellar.
Yeah, the root cellar, which is the same place Jade found in the beginning, where he saw the man under the rock. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that is where Victor was the night that everything like went down.
Yeah.
It definitely is some sort of a magical place. There's a reason Kimono Lady told Elgin to take Fatima there, right?
You would think, though, that knowing, although I don't know, maybe that's not the case because they want to screw everybody. But I think that it would have been a lot easier for them to get what they wanted if they did do what we had said earlier when Nathan was here. You know, why not just say, hey, I have this safe place for you to hide out. You can have the baby here and nobody will know where you're at, instead of dragging her there. But I think they want chaos. So they probably, went the other way on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, Boyd had a better point. He wants them to stay in a tent off the trail because any known building could be searched for them, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Get that.
And that's what David was saying before about the hero's journey with the pregnancy is the point of the ordeal. This coincides with winter solstice. Well, it's also becoming winter there now too.
Yeah.
That the seasons are changing.
I mean, Elgin's thought process was pretty sound, actually, because...
Okay, AJ, I have no idea what you're saying. Are you away from their phone?
There you are.
No, I'm right where I was.
Well, yeah, it got all quiet. We couldn't hear you.
Go ahead.
I was saying Elgin's thought process was pretty sound because, like he said, there's a secret room nobody knows about.
Well,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it is a safe place for her to be.
Yeah.
Technically.
Well, so we just had a nice long talk. Well, not really, because Nathan couldn't really tell us anything about Elgin and the kimono lady and what he decided to do when he gets a photograph last week of the root cellar. He gets this photo this week that guides him to, and there's the picture of the crow on his chest. He gets a photo this week that guides him to convince Fatima to go into the root cellar, which, I mean, she's very trusting. She's very scared and confused. And Elgin has always come across as a very kind and sweet and trustworthy kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So I could see why Fatima never says like, wait, how do you know? How do you know I killed her? And how do you know where to find me? Like, she doesn't ask these questions, but I get
Does
that.
he know, though? That's what I was asking earlier. Does he actually know about Tilly? I don't know that the kimono lady actually told him anything about Tilly. I mean, he knows she's dead, but I don't know that he knows Fatima. Oh, that's right. Did he say like the baby did it or something? No, I can't remember. I don't know that he knows.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it would change him. If you, I'm sorry, but if you are taking advice from this person,
yeah,
I don't think you really it's not going to make a difference what Fatima has done. Like,
that's a good point.
This person is guiding him right. This person and a magic Polaroid are guiding him right now. So he Fatima doesn't ask these questions, but she's not in a mental state to be like, wait, what? She's like looking for anyone to help her. Like, I get why she would do that, except, they get down there and she's like, I think I'll go wait for us outside. And then this happens, which is horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
It was. Sandira is saying, talking about that room, believe when Victor arrived, they tried to free the entity, which is why there's already a bed in there. It did not go well.
When Victor
I don't know. I think we were before still positing that it looks like maybe it's supposed to be Jade with the
maybe Fatima's giving birth to the entity.
Yeah. So I want to put a pin in that, AJ, because you just made me think of like the whole Julie business. So when we talk about the Julie, let's circle back to that, right?
Yeah.
And the apparent circularity of what's going on here.
Yeah. My main thing I just wanted to say really quick about Julie is I wish that, I get that Randall wouldn't go because Randall's, smart and is like, hell, I ain't going back there. Nothing's good here. But I think that when Randall didn't go, I wish she would have asked Marielle to go, because I would have loved to have seen if things went differently if one of the Cicada 3 was there.
All right, so you want to talk about that? We're done talking about Elgin now. You want to talk about what happened?
No, you said something about Julie's. That's why I said that.
I said I want to circle back when we.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant you wanted to move on to Julie. No, go ahead. Finish Fatima. That's fine.
Well, I think we might be done. I mean, poor Fatima now has been like she's been abducted and imprisoned, right? By nice Elgin, who I don't know. I believe that Elgin believes he's doing the right thing. Yeah. Sarah believes she was doing the right thing right up until she almost tried to kill Ethan, right? Yeah. So do you guys think so? Elgin says, like, this is where you'll be safe with the baby. He says, yes, you're pregnant. The only problem is it's not yours.
Yeah.
You think it's Kimono Lady's baby?
The thought crossed my mind when he first said that.
Like, who's like maybe Kimono Lady? I don't know why someone came to the town. Like, maybe Kimono Lady came years ago, and this is a cycle. Like, maybe she came and she was pregnant, and are we like reenacting some sort of cycle? I don't know how she got to the town dressed in this lovely kimono.
I don't know why she looks different than like everything else. Like, what kind of entity is she?
You mean why her face is looking like that? Like she's preserved like a mummy instead of like instead of being like she's like a mummy. I don't really know. Like, could like what does Elgin mean? Is it her Cruella's baby, or does he mean like it's the town's baby?
Don't know.
Whatever the force is that's in the town.
But Golden Child thinks Kimono Lady works with the big bad and brought Fatima there to have her baby. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's the reason we talk about before about like fate and are they there? Does that certain people have reasons for being there? Maybe that's why she's there, because she's meant to have the baby, whatever it is.
And do you need her to like, did she have to get pregnant the regular human way to have, like, why isn't Julie pregnant? Why isn't Christy pregnant? Why Fatima, and why now? Like, they've been there for years, right? Like Fatima has been there a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Just Misa has a point. Like, maybe it just means how they say they're not Jim's children anymore. Like, maybe just means it's not your baby anymore. Not that it's not like literally her baby, but more like,
you have to give it up. Like, you have to give it up.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe like it's not your baby because the baby has a higher purpose, and you are just like you're carrying this baby, but it has another reason, and you're gonna have to. Yeah, I like that. Just me. That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, I do. I was gonna say, David says it's either Kimono Ladies or the entities.
Yeah, the entity somehow impregnated Fatima.
I think it's definitely not human, no matter what. I don't think it's like a normal human baby. I know, and I don't for the life of me. I'm so bad.
Maybe it's a worm.
I'm bad with my memory, but there's also this some people who think, I can't remember who to attribute it to, but they think it's going to be like worms or something, or a spider or something, and it's going to be something crazy like that.
Is there anybody who thinks that she's not pregnant at all and it's a figment?
I don't, just because I think that it would be too like boring for this show. I just don't think they'd do that after this whole storyline.
Well, I mean, but like, she could be not really pregnant, and it is to make Elgin believe she's pregnant for whatever Elgin is going to do next, right? Like, Elgin drew his own blood. We didn't talk about that. I presume to feed to Fatima in the basement.
That would be my guess. That was what I immediately thought. Yeah.
Like, and I saw 3 jars, and I was like, dude, you can't take 3 quarts of blood and be able to walk. You'd be in bed for like a month.
He should have cleaned the jar first. Just saying.
Well, I mean, she eats garbage. She doesn't need clean blood.
Okay, that's true. Golden Child says maybe it's because Fatima couldn't have children. That's why. Like, maybe it had to be somebody who couldn't. And you know, I've been saying over the weekend, and I always forget what we're talking about. Oh, I know. I was saying about Tabitha, like going through the tree. Sometimes I wonder if it's kind of like with the Philosopher's Stone in Harry Potter, like the one who wanted it but not to use it. So like, you know, she didn't want to have a baby, so is the one that can have the baby. Or like going through the tree, Tabitha really didn't want to necessarily leave because she was wanted to be with her family. So maybe that's why she was able to, like a kind of opposite thing.
I hear you, although I wouldn't say Fatima didn't want to have a baby. I didn't get the impression that she would have liked to.
Well, I think, she couldn't have one. Yeah, I guess I didn't say she didn't want to have a baby. She couldn't have a baby.
Yeah, she believed she couldn't have a baby.
Yeah. Sindira doesn't think she's pregnant.
So thank you, Sindira. Thank you. I think it's possible that it's a big old mind F. A mind play, a mind trick that the town, I was wondering for a long time, is she pregnant because, why is the town messing with her? Maybe it's all a ploy for what Elgin needs to put Elgin down his path. I mean, Elgin is a person who has visions and is maybe called in a way that Fatima hasn't until now, right? Could it be to drive Elgin down his path? I'm with Cindy. I think it's possible that she's not really pregnant.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. That wasn't my thought.
And I think it would be a good story turn for Elgin to have committed this terrible thing, and we'll see what happens next, and then for her to turn out she would have never been pregnant in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that this is the answer. I think Elgin's going to be disappointed. I don't think that. I mean, it's clearly not the answer. Like Elgin needs to do what the kimono said, help me and I'll help you all go home. I believe that's a lie, because we have
I think it's like the whole
don't
thing.
The writers theoretically have, I think, 5 seasons they had envisioned for the show, right? Yeah. I think I've seen talk of 5 seasons.
Yeah, they had planned 5 seasons if they get it.
So it's too soon for them to go home. So this was horrifying. We'll see what happens next with her. In the meantime, idiot Julie.
I called it last week.
You did. Yeah. You did. I mean, we saw it last week out in the woods with this, this ruin that we knew what it was, and you knew
she'd come back.
We knew she'd come back, and Randall says to her, and I thought it was a really important line in the show. Was it this week? Randall says to Julie, there's nothing here that wants to help us. Julie's trying to convince him. I think they were in the hospital bed.
Yeah, they were in
days, and she's like, let's go check it out. This could be the answer. This could help us give the answer. And Randall says, there's nothing here that wants to help us. I think he's right, except maybe the boy in white. I think maybe the uncouth.
And maybe the children. The fact that I think part of the reason she wants to go, though, is because she does say it quiets the voices, like it makes them stop.
Well,
she didn't lure her in.
Jamie, it did for like 5 minutes. It's not like she's been there 50 times and every time she goes there, it quiets the voices. For the 2 minutes that they were there last week, it quieted the voices.
No, but I mean, I assume that might be part of why she went back too, was all I meant.
Well, yeah, because it intrigued her because of the way she felt when she was there with Randall.
Yeah.
I feel like finally, Ethan actually has a purpose for a change.
Okay, and yet the utter irresponsibility.
I was getting to that.
That's why
I was getting to that. I was just gonna say he has a purpose because of her, saying, hey, this is like your story. What would you, what should I do if I was in your story? And he tells her, which I thought was good. But that's when I'm like, okay, Ethan, you stay over here. I'm gonna walk in there and keep an eye on me. If anything weird happens. No, she's like, hold my hand and let's go in together. Like, no, dummy. I mean, it worked out anyway because they went in and he didn't see anything and nothing happened to him. He was still able to go get help. But I would never would have let him go in there with me in the first place.
Yeah.
No, and on the one hand, I'm like, oh, Julie's supposed to be like 17, and teenagers make bad decisions. On the other hand, she's lived in Fromville long enough to know and been really in charge of Ethan for years now since Thomas died, right? She's expressed that she had to basically take over when her parents lost their shit, in her words. And to take Ethan there just seems like a complete abdication of any common sense whatsoever, right? And then she's going to hold his hand as they walk through. And guess what happens? She's in the dungeon.
No, let me ask you guys something, because there's one thing I wanted to talk about, because there were some different thoughts on this when we were discussing it on Sunday. I kind of was under the impression, not under the impression. Obviously, she doesn't really travel because we know that she stays with Ethan and she has a seizure, right? So this is somehow in her head, in a dream, astral projection, dream walking, something. But she's still having a seizure on the ground with Ethan. She didn't physically move. Her body didn't physically move. Do we agree with that?
No.
Okay. Well, okay, why?
She threw Boyd the rope.
No, well, that's
she
what I was
physically did that.
Yes, and I was going to say that is the one thing to me that makes no sense is that she could throw him the rope. But that being said, I see that Boyd, in my opinion, Boyd physically traveled to that place. That's why he needed the torch.
That was what we saw him. He went through the tree. He went up the well.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought too. That is how I took it. But Julie was making this point that when Boyd was, now the thing with the tree, no, but when Boyd was like after in the ruins and stuff, he had kept blacking out with the ballerina and that, and Kenny was there and helped him. So I don't know. She thinks that maybe he was like not really there either, and that it like he sort of not dreamt it, but it's some sort of dreamscape too. And then it would make sense that she could affect it. But I don't know. That to me doesn't necessarily make tons of sense.
So I think Julie did not go anywhere. Julie was simultaneously seizing in the woods with Ethan, in this room hearing the screaming, and then who was screaming but herself chained to the wall. There were three versions of Julie like existing in this space simultaneously. I think it's a space that maybe like it is a space where the barrier between worlds is thin or multiple. I don't think it's a multiple realities. I just don't have a better word right now. I don't think this is a show about different realities, but I don't.
No, I think somehow.
Let me finish. I'm just saying I don't have the right word in my mind right now to express what I mean by these multiple realities like touching and existing at the same time. I don't think it's an alternate reality, but I think this is some sort of magical space where you can, it reminds me, I was thinking today what it reminds me of, and I hate to do it again and bring up Lost, but the chapel on Lost where Christian says to Jack, everyone's in the room together, and Christian says, some of them died before you, some of them died after you. But they were all there at the same time looking like they always looked because it was this like not real kind of space, right? So that's kind of what I think this is. This is not a real place where she was. You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean.
I know, but I do think there's some form of time travel involved, or at least
not
necessarily physical travel, but her mind is moving through time to some extent.
All right. Well, hold on. No, it doesn't have to necessarily be time travel. But there is some kind of weird time dilation going on there.
Yeah, some kind of.
There's a difference between time travel and time dilation, and I think it's the tower has some kind of weird time dilation. But I think the biggest thing, I mean, yeah, everybody's happy. Oh, we finally know how Boyd got the rope. I think the more important thing is how the hell does Martin know her?
Yeah.
He says Julie. He's like he sees her and he's like Julie. So how does Martin know her? But here's my thing. He says his name's Martin. He gives Boyd that whole story. But could he have lied to Boyd? Because
I thought he could be Randall.
That's what I was thinking. I think Martin is Randall because I think he lied to Boyd about the story because Boyd's not ready yet to know what the truth is. I thought it was Randall. I know his name is he's supposed to be Martin and everything. Immediately, though, his recognition of her, I immediately thought it was Randall.
So 2 questions with that. Why would he have tattoos from being in a war that he wasn't in that he doesn't have now? And why isn't his face all jacked up? I mean, he does have a beard, but I would think you could tell if he had a humongous scar.
Do we know that Randall doesn't have tattoos?
Well, I don't know. I thought we've seen him. Maybe I might be thinking of pictures online. I don't know. But they were supposed to be tattoos from like a war from I don't remember. I'd have to go back. But like a really old military tattoo from like a war past or whatever. See, I don't know. I think that there's that whenever Martin is, I think is a different time. I think Boyd, where she threw the rope is a different time because it happened before. And then I think she went back to where her mother and Victor were in the caves. I'm not saying she exactly traveled, but she somehow slipped back into like other events and was able to see them. And can she, I think the biggest thing, my question was, can she actually change anything though? Because yeah, she threw the rope, but if we go by, and we talk about Lost, obviously, and go by rules of Lost, like what happened. She could have always been meant to throw that rope. You know what I mean? But I don't understand how she can be having a seizure and not really there, but was able to throw the rope. That part's what confuses me.
Well, because the rest of it, except for the rope, the rest of it could have been a vision, right? Like she sees the three of them chained up and screaming, and clearly that's the screaming she hears in her head. And then like she hears her mother, but she never sees her, or they don't interact. Like it could have been granted a vision of things that had happened, but there's the rope. I wish
she would have looked down the well. She asked Martin who it was. He didn't tell her. She should have looked.
I thought she should have recognized Boyd's voice after all this time in town.
Did she hear him though? I didn't. That was my question, but I wasn't sure if she actually heard him or she just heard Martin talking to him.
To be fair, he's in a well, so his voice might sound different. Kind of like when you put your hand over the telephone.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I don't know the explanation behind it, but I think Julie was physically in two places at the same time.
It's possible, but Miss Quinn's right.
Well, three places. Three places. She's chained to the wall, and she's looking at herself, and she's in the woods.
Okay, yeah. So at that moment, yes. She was in three places.
Do you notice how when she screamed for it to stop, they stopped screaming? We talk about manifestation and everything. I think she can control it and just doesn't know it.
So, Jamie, do our commenters think it's time travel, or do they think it's? Does anybody have a theory there in the chat?
Just me says she's jumping all over, but it's like she went through a far away tree. So I don't know if they think. David says the rope is like the grandfather time traveling paradox.
And
then Sandira's saying maybe it's like Inception, where they had concepts they tried to dream inside of a dream.
Oh yeah,
that's possible. I mean, if it's some kind of dream state, things don't have to make sense.
Yeah, but these are physical things we've seen before.
Goldchild says it's a dream dimension. I told you, Julie thinks it's some kind of dream thing. I don't know. I just thought whatever it was, that it was in Julie's head, but Boyd was physically there. That's how I took it. But the rope, I didn't understand. Yeah,
that's why I think she's physically in multiple places at the same time.
That's possible, and then it's actually both things, right? Miss Quinn said she had the vision, she wasn't physically there.
Yeah, I feel like she didn't. And I saw headlines like different, people who recap it and review it. And I saw like one that said From has officially introduced time travel, and I was like, no, it has not. Even if Jamie, you think that she somehow was present in a
her mind travel
time. Like this is not time travel. This is not like you got in your TARDIS and you went back in time.
No, it's not that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now,
so I also think
Vera has a point.
Yeah.
Whoops, it's not going up. Maybe it wasn't even real, and that Boyd wasn't really there. But it's I guess the point is whether she traveled through time, whether her mind traveled through time or not, she was able to see past events. We agree with that. I mean, she was seeing something and hearing something that previously happened.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Just means that maybe they're all having visions. I mean, maybe it didn't really happen to Boyd either. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, and there's the part, I was just thinking there have been theories since season 1 that this is all like Victor created it. It's in Victor's head or Victor manifested it. But I think it's just as likely that it's Ethan who manifested it. It follows the chromonocle so closely in season 1 and 2, but still continues to really have those themes that like, did Ethan?
You mean this part of it, not the whole
The whole show.
Well, how could Ethan have invented it though if he wasn't around back before when it happened in the past?
Well, we don't know. We never saw one thing before maybe the whole thing started when they walked in there. Like we are
no, but I mean, Victor's been there for 40 years. Ethan wasn't there 40 years ago.
Victor tells us he's been there for 40 years. And Victor like recounts stories of being there for 40 years, but really the whole thing, like we don't really like the people on the show only know what Victor tells them. Like if the Matthews family is our entry point, they are our entry point. We see them in scene 1, right? Like everything starts with the Matthews family. Like could it all be fake and Ethan made it up? And like they tell us what happened, but the show, no action began. Like the show begins with the Matthews family, right?
Maybe in that crash, maybe everybody died but Ethan, and that's how he dealt with it. He made up a world.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. But it does seem that things are missing or odd or childlike in a lot of the different things with the town, the way it's put together. We know this. We've said it before. Same thing like how there's a hotel sign but no hotel. There's, a post office that's a, now a sheriff's station. Like it was a school, but there's no school. Like things like that.
Well, they made the post office into the sheriff's station.
Yeah.
Like it was a post office. They made it into a sheriff's station. I don't understand why people ask about that. Like they needed a place to be the sheriff's station. They moved it to the post office.
I guess it just seems odd that there's like a post office, and just the fact of what existed in that town, I guess to me is strange. Like there's a diner and a post office and a school, and that's it. Like I don't know.
You should drive. I mean, there are many, many small towns in the world where you have to drive to the next town to go to the grocery store or to the electrician or to wherever, right? There are many towns that only have a post office and a diner. A lot of them don't have a motel, but maybe they do. There are many towns that have them, like, because the town exists like, we don't know the space that it's in. It's not real, right? I just think that this obsession with the motel sign and no motel is like a total red herring, and that I think people are. For me, it doesn't bother me one bit, and I'm surprised at the amount of attention it gets on the internet. Actually,
I don't know, but like Miss Quinn saying how Frank and his family was killed. I mean, yes, I get what you're saying, that it could still be all part of it, but like I just think with the events that we've seen that are supposed to be from before Ethan, it makes me think that's not the case. I mean, you could be right. I mean, I know more than you do, but I could
absolutely be wrong. I often am. I'm just speculating that if you believe it's in a kid's head, I mean, and children are maybe a big key to all of this. Like Ethan. Maybe not Ethan, Julia, maybe not children, but Sarah's very young. Elgin is supposed to be 18, right? They're 18 to 20. Like the younger people have more of the experiences, I think, than the old. I don't know. Then you got to, maybe I'm totally wrong. You have Tilly who like totally, I should stop having ideas because I have to just.
You debunk your own ideas.
You can have that idea. The place does seem not put together right, though. I mean, like the whole thing with the electricity and that. So it does make sense in some ways. Yeah. Let's see. And Miss Quinn is saying about the from town in Canada. I know that you can go on Google Maps or whatever and look at some of the.
Oh, that's so cool.
The whole town, the way it's put together for filming, anyway.
That's pretty cool.
Now, David says if it's in someone's mind, it's likely the collective consciousness of the Unkui kids.
I like that. Yep.
I do too. I like that.
I don't think this is in anybody's head other than any more than Lost was in Hurley's head.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I feel like those I mean, I don't know. I just in that type of story, I feel cheated when
I wouldn't in the end be happy. I think if as much as before that was my theory, I feel like if it's not real, I wouldn't be happy either.
Like the whole Dallas thing, like Ethan's gonna sit up in bed and be like, it was.
Yeah, I don't want it to be all in somebody's head or all a dream or everybody's dead or everybody's in purgatory or something like that.
Right.
This is not our Lost podcast, but I really hope you're kidding, Sandera.
All right, so let's before we get to the end of the show, let's talk about these people. who, boy, I mean, Jim is moving. Jim was very close to being on
Jim's
the
a dick again.
He was almost on the top of my kill list for a while there until Henry like brought him back for a minute there. And there weren't any really good press photos of the conversations that went on here, but Jim really was being a jerk. And Jade, I think Jade had some really good points, and Henry had good point. I don't know why they worked Jim up to be so insufferable this season. But,
well, actually, I think Henry explained it. Actually, I don't think it excuses the way Jim acts. But it's actually funny because when he walked over to Henry and he grabbed the chair and he sat down, I was really expecting him to like lean into Henry and be like, "Shut the fuck up and mind your own business." That's what I thought was going to happen. But he actually sat down and had a conversation, and but Henry says he's like, I get it. He's like, I'm probably the only person in town that gets it, and he's like, you're acting this way because you're scared. And not that it excuses Jim's behavior, but that's
and he says, and because you're doing it for yourself. I think Jim has a lot of issues. I think Jim is also jealous because his wife keeps going to Jade instead of him, but he don't listen to her. That's the biggest problem.
I mean, look, when Jim had a theory that involved building a tower on the top of Colony House for whatever remember that? Like, Jim was all about it and it had to be done. But when his wife has an idea, he's kind of, I mean, granted, the last time she had an idea, she dug a giant hole and the house collapsed, and, it didn't really go that well. And then she had this idea that, I mean, I get it. She went into a tree and she disappeared. He thought she was dead. It's terrifying. But she also, she's one of the few people whose ideas and theories have shown real progress. I don't know. It just feels very sort of like mansplaining and toxic. Not toxic, but it feels very like, you just had it. Like, he's really, really discounting her feelings and thoughts.
And that's why Henry had the best advice. Shut up and listen to her. Because he knows you're going to regret it if you don't. I mean, he's gone through similar and he lost his wife, and at least Jim still has her. But I think that, I do think Jim in a way is selfish, and I do think he's scared, but I think it's also because he's insecure. But I did like the argument between him and Jade, and I feel like Jade, as much as he's often an asshole, I feel like he's also put up with a lot from Jim and not bitched back. So yeah, I think Jim deserved to be yelled at.
Oh, absolutely. I had no problem with Jade.
I love that scene.
Going after him.
Yeah, I think there's a point where Jim says, "I don't want you putting ideas in her head," and Jade goes, "What is she, 9?" Right?
It's like, I didn't tell her to come here or to go there.
But she's a grown person with autonomy who can have her own ideas and listen to Jade or not. He's not putting, to say, "I want you putting ideas in her head." It's so, as a woman, it's so offensive to me that he speaks about his wife like that you're putting ideas in her head. And, do you think, AJ, you mentioned Jim's insecurity. Do you think he's insecure about Jade's superior intelligence, that Jade is just smarter and maybe going to solve it, and Jim wants to be the guy to solve it for his wife? Or do you think, I don't know that I read any insecurity. I
think if Jade wasn't gay, Jim would be a lot worse.
We don't
you think he's worried about a romantic attachment?
I think he's jealous. Part of it, I think, is he's jealous of the friendship that she's created with Jade.
Yeah, and Miss Quinn's right. He's insecure because,
their marriage has been on the rocks for 2 years, right?
It's pulling away, yeah.
Yeah, they've been on the rocks ever since Thomas died. But I feel like she's pulling away from Jim because he's a jerk. I mean, Jade is an abrasive jerk also, right? Like, she's not like, if she's pulling away from Jim, yes, I absolutely agree she's pulling away from Jim. I don't think she's necessarily pulling towards Jade, except for intellectually trying to solve the puzzle. He's not jealous of her talking to Victor. I don't know. They've really made Jim. There's some speculation online that Jim might die, that they've set Jim up to be a poor partner and parent and a bad and an annoying dude so that he can.
Yeah, I don't know, but he
sacrifice himself for his family before the season.
Look at himself, and because I mean, he says the whole thing about how he looked at the whatever it is, the alcohol. I forget what kind of alcohol it was, whiskey, whatever, and he didn't want to be, like his father, or whatever. But he's not been a very good parent. I mean, not for the drinking, but just he's constantly ditching them and like, I get it. He's trying to figure everything out, but he's just not doing the best job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get it. He's terrified and whatever, but
doesn't excuse anything though. It's multi-layered. It's not just one thing with Jim.
Yeah, he's really been so. Meanwhile, while all this arguing is happening between Jade and Jim, Henry is lurking in the bathroom. Was he in the bathroom? Was he in the closet? Like, he was totally in there the whole time. And we saw him last week. He goes, he's like, I want a drink. And he goes with Donna to get a drink, right? Or he goes down to get a drink. And so
there's been conversations. Some of them think that he slept with Donna. I don't think that, but we were having this conversation.
Why would anybody think that? There's no indication.
Because he stayed at the bar. They think that they spent the night together. I'm just telling you what some people think. I said I don't think it, but
there's no way Donna does not go back to Colony House every single night to deal with those people, for starters, right? I just don't think Donna.
She spent a lot of time at the bar with them at any rate.
And I don't think that Henry, who's having all these feelings of guilt about his wife and child, would be like, but whatever. People.
No, I don't think it either. I'm just telling you because I thought it was funny.
But he's like hiding in the closet or something, right? And then he comes out and says, do you mind if I have a drink? As though he wasn't like totally there drinking right before they got there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed he was either just in the other room drunk or he was in the bathroom or something. I never really.
I was thinking I just think he passed out for a little bit. Because he'd been drinking for a while.
Yeah.
However, there was a part of me that expected Donna to come out behind him.
So AJ thought that too then.
You think it too. He did. It was weird that he was lurking in there. I was like, seriously? Like, they couldn't just have him come in the front. That was kind of weird that he was lurking there. He did give very good advice. About not believing his wife, and then he lost her and he wished he just would have listened to her because it turned out she was totally right. She went through a tree and whatever, right? Went to this weird town. He's
just me thought he was in the bathroom. That's what
I thought he was in the bathroom. I thought he was in the bathroom.
It didn't look like a bathroom though.
Well, what other room?
Bedroom back there.
I don't know. Right, does it matter?
It's a gap. Anyway, we should come around and speak about his son, Victor. This was an amazing thing that happened. And AJ, I don't know. I didn't text AJ. I saw the episode ahead of you, right? So I texted Jamie, not you. I didn't want to spoil you, but I told Jamie I was so glad that they didn't have a literal talking doll and that they resolved this as like Victor's repressed memory of the boy in white, and he was like remembered it incorrectly or repressed or whatever. I love that they did it that way, because if I had to watch an actual talking doll, I might have I just don't think that would have been as good. Yeah, a successful piece of storytelling, right?
I don't know. A lot of people want to see it. I really could take it or leave it. It didn't really matter to me either way. But I like the way they did it. And I think it shows again that Victor isn't always a reliable narrator. But regardless of the mystery part of that, the story part of it, I think that I also just want to say I really enjoyed the scenes well, with the three of them, but especially with him and Tabitha, they were done really, really well.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sarah definitely added to it too, though. When when Tabitha couldn't reach him, and she kind of like took him out of it for a minute. It was like, what kind of day was it? And kind of like started the whole cycle of bringing it around to, having that conversation where they're basically having a speed round with him, saying the first thing that comes to his mind. That's how he ended up, realizing, oh shit, it was the church.
Yeah, and that it wasn't the doll. Ms. Quinn thinks Henry is an abusive drunk and Miranda took the kids and split, and they ended up in a car accident that spliced consciousness from real life to Fromville. And Victor's trauma is why he didn't remember Henry. Harry. I don't know why I said Harry. That's an interesting theory. Huh. Yeah.
I mean, that is an interesting theory. I mean, the reunion between the two of them and the hug was very moving. But it doesn't mean that couldn't also be correct, right? I mean, it's never really been told, I don't think, why they were on the road and where they were going, right? Although maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting theory. I kind of like it. And I don't know if we're ever going to get this kind of backstory on all these people that we would like. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so the whole culmination of this is finding out that the boy in white is telling Christopher how to get out of town.
Is he? I don't know if he is.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting story. I mean, this is, and this is why I don't think, it's in anybody's head or anything. I mean, I think this is something supernatural that happened that, he says the children's blood grew the tree, and, they were sacrificed by people they trusted. So it sounds like these parents, I feel like this is something that happened a long time ago, and they were sacrificing children.
Like a human sacrifice type deal?
Yeah. And, it got to the point where it was so bad where their blood grew into the tree, which is what created the faraway tree.
They say they poured their hope into the tree, is what they say.
Yeah, it says the answers. Here's the thing. Because I have a couple things.
Yeah, their hope was the children's blood.
Yeah, the answers to the end are at the beginning. So I'm not sure if that could be taken to mean that everything that happened started with the children, or if it means literally at the beginning of the show, because the writers have previously said that all the answers are actually there at the beginning. So it could mean that. But then let's see, then they say that they were born in the dark and were murdered in the dark. So that's another thing that I think has meaning. I'm wondering if born in the dark more means like unaware rather than like literal dark. And it means that they were like made to be set, like they had children just to sacrifice them for something.
Well, I thought it meant that it was reference to Fatima's baby being born in the root cellar. And like, previously Elgin said, is this really where, Elgin said last week, is this really where it happens? And like, I was like, oh, is that the place where people had babies like 1,000 years ago in Fromville?
No, that's really interesting though. I hadn't even thought about the root cellar, like meaning literally in the dark in that sense. That's cool. I did not think of that. But it says, at any rate, it says that they were killed by the people who trusted them. Where'd it go? Hold on. It started with the children, what the others did to them, the people that they loved and trusted. They were born in the dark, they were murdered in the dark, but someone who loved them told them a story. The story gave them hope, and then the children laid on the stones. They poured their hope into the roots that made the symbol, and those roots became the tree.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether hope is literal. Like AJ said, it could mean blood. It could not literally mean hope. I thought maybe it more meant kind of like their innocence. But the one thing that is interesting that we did have a long discussion about is that they didn't tell us it was the faraway tree. Sarah says that and they never answer. Some people think maybe it's the tree that's in the middle of the road that takes everybody here.
Oh, yeah.
Which it could be. See, how I took it that when they're saying they need to save the children, they don't mean literally because they're already dead. They more mean like save, I don't even want to say their souls or their innocence, but like they need the world to maybe know what happened, and they made a tree so they could leave the town and maybe tell the truth about what happened, and like they could come out of the dark in that sense. Like if people found out what these horrible people did, and like they don't want to, and that's why they're supposed to leave. I don't know. That was my theory.
I think part of the what happened with Miranda, the reason she died, I think, is because for whatever reason the boy in white told Christopher he had to go, and Christopher was like, "This is all bullshit. It's all lies." And then Victor telling his mother about it, and that her hearing that Christopher wouldn't go, she's like, "Well, I'll go then." And since she wasn't the one that was supposed to go, that's why she died. Like I think if Christopher had gone, I think he would have been like Tabitha, and I think he would have gotten out. Now would he gotten pulled back in like Tabitha did? I don't know.
I don't know. Here's some different theories. David thinks the children want revenge, and the boy in white's their leader. That's a possibility. Let's see. Golden Child says that when they poured their hopes in the root, they became the tree in the road. Okay, he's saying about the tree. Yeah, the tree in the road. And they created Fromily dimension where everybody's drawn to because their connection with the Nkui kids of hope. I don't know. I don't know which tree it means.
Well, that's probably why it was.
Then they're talking about the car accidents.
So
the place began with child sacrifices. The show started with Tabitha and Jade arrived in the beginning of the hero's journey. Being killed and born in darkness is the sun dying and being born in winter. Well, could be.
I think David is Jack Bender. He's telling us all the answers, and we're not.
Yeah, are you Bender?
And we're just taking him as theories.
Yeah.
They're very good theories.
Says it could be a test to see if they're willing to try to save them. That's a good point.
You guys have really. This is not how I felt about this when I heard this.
Okay, how did you feel about it?
Okay, so I'm thinking of a character on a TV show who says, "Don't expect me to be happy that we have another damn thing to solve." And I can't remember what show it was where they say that, but I felt like, oh, great. In season 2, we had this mystery during the whole music box thing. Remember, there was this like nursery rhyme kind of song that Bhakta was like, oh yeah, my grandma would sing that. And it was a bunch of like blah, blah, whatever. And I honestly can't even remember what it was when I think back on it. It was like the mystery of the whatever. And I don't know. I'm sure someone in the chat will inform us immediately what it was and how it was resolved. But like, honestly, I felt like, oh, Victor, that's a bunch of nonsense. What is anybody supposed to do with that? How is that helpful? And I don't really want to see a whole season of Jade and Tabitha sitting at a desk trying to figure it out, right? So, which I know they're not going to do that. They would never do that to us. But my reaction was like, oh, great, here we go. Now we got, and we're not going to solve it by episode 10, right?
I don't know. I do know this is called Thresholds, is the name of the episode. I think we got a lot. Kind of wonder if this is like he says about the end is it. What's he say? The answer to the end is it. The answer to the end is yeah. I also wonder if it could mean that like this is the beginning. Like this is the beginning of the answers. Like this is how it all started, type of thing. I don't know.
I get. Maybe the answer to the end of the beginning could be, the beginning for all intents and purposes, like there's the beginning of when it happened, but Victor's been there the longest. And so for the people who live in Fromily, the beginning is when Victor got there because we don't know any history from before that, right?
Except for their visions.
Except for what?
Their visions. Or if you believe them. We don't know whether they're true or
not.
If
you believe the visions and if you believe they're in the past, yeah. But so the answer to the end or the beginning could mean that Victor holds more. He already does hold some answers, right? That he holds more of the answers. Or it could mean the beginning, somebody else's beginning. Or it could mean the beginning when the Nkui children were like killed. I do want to know, one thing for me that I want to know, there are a lot of things that I don't need every single question answered. What the hell does Nkui mean? Like, I want to know what Nkui means. And those children all look like they just rose up out of their grave with like their hair falling out and their gray eye. And then boy in white looks healthy as a horse, right? So he's not the same as them. So is it David who said maybe he's their leader? Maybe that's why he looks different. I don't know.
Mm,
I just and then I got to look at him and go back to Randall saying, Julie, there's nothing here that wants to help us. And I think I'm kind of with Randall. I know he's a big cynic, but I'm kind of with Randall that like nobody is good.
Well, he did get her out of the town though, Tabitha.
Well, but we don't. I mean, she came right back.
If you think he really did, and you're right, she came back. So, did she only get sent out simply to pull those people in? Don't know.
Don't know. It was kind of a huge deal. This was kind of maybe my favorite part, that we got the whole Jasper thing resolved, and then I don't have to. I'm glad I don't have to look at this creepy doll that haunts me. This doll scares the crap out of me, and I'm glad that I don't have to see. Maybe I don't have to look at him anymore after this. He just looks evil, right? And so this was kind of a huge revelation. Also, like I just loved we talk so much about an unreliable narrator, and we always knew that Victor was unreliable, and now we have this demonstration of Victor's like suppression of what he really saw, which I get it. Like if you saw like this weirdo little talking boy and you're a little kid, maybe it's more believable that a doll was talking, and maybe that's how his brain processed it. I get it. Yeah. But I just love how it sets up everything that Victor understands. And I really, really loved, you guys, the way Tabitha interacts with Victor and the way she was like talking him down when it was like, look, she's a mom and she talked kids down before. I don't want to compare Victor to like a really small child, but like when he starts to melt down, she's seen a child melt down, right? And I love that. And then I love when Sarah just instinctively stepped in when Tabitha's getting nowhere, and Sarah's like, "Oh, what was it like that day? Was it a nice day?" And she instantly like just knows how to get Victor down memory lane. And to me, this was my favorite part of the episode. Really, more for that whole interaction than for the result that came out of it. And I just killed the conversation, so I guess it wasn't that great.
No, sorry. I was reading what was in the chat. Yes, I was saying earlier, I really think that whole scene between the three of them was really well acted.
Yeah.
Especially by Scott.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense that he thought maybe it was the doll and that. I agree with what you're saying. Like, to him, that could have been the way he the way he understood it.
Well,
I mean, he was the one that had to begin with.
Like he says, he drew stuff down to remember so that he didn't have to. And
right.
Since
this was so painful. He didn't.
And since he didn't draw that day, that's why his memory was fractured.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and also like this is maybe the most painful memory of it all, because we see how he blames himself for his mother's disappearance. Like Christopher wouldn't go, so he told his mother. And
that's why he didn't want to remember it.
Never seen again. Yeah. You're right, Jamie. That's why he suppressed that.
Yeah,
because
he's really sad.
It is really sad, and I'd love to see this be a breakthrough for Victor and allow him to be a little more. But he can't be less like he's stunted permanently, right? Like it's not just this memory, it's the years of being years, I think it was, that he lived alone as a child, right? With only the monsters at his I mean, I can't bring up a new question. I was going to be like, why didn't the monsters eat him? We've been around this, and we can't answer that. And we could do a whole 2-hour show on why the monsters didn't kill Victor when he was alone.
Yeah.
In the pre.
Well, it's like I said a couple of weeks. I mean, it's obviously still a theory, but I feel like there are certain characters that are not allowed to be killed.
I agree with you. Boyd is one of them. Victor's one of them.
Yep.
I mean, Boyd definitely is one.
Apparently Randall too, because there's no reason they couldn't have killed Randall.
Yeah, Randall. Yeah, there are people.
I still wonder if maybe though, like, they didn't kill him, but they did something. Like maybe he made a deal with them or something. For all we know, like, he talked about to Randall like he thought somebody was a spy, and we thought he was full of shit. But like maybe he became one. I don't know.
I don't think Randall is that guy.
I don't think he's a spy, but I just wonder that maybe there's more to it that we don't know.
As abrasive and jerky as he is, I've really come around that he's a fundamentally like decent person with a code of sorts, right? And that he wouldn't maybe do that. Okay, maybe he would have, but I think the cicada coma has fundamentally changed him.
Yeah, I do think it's changed him too.
And I think he can't be killed. I don't think the person who made a deal with the monsters.
Randall, the Matthews, Jade, Boyd, and his family, but everybody else. That's a lot of people, though. That's the only thing I'm thinking. That's a lot of people.
It's only like 8 people, right? Randall, can you put that back up real quick so I can look at it again?
Randall, the Matthews, Jade, and Boyd. Yeah, I guess it's not that many. Randall, Jade, and Boyd, 3 plus the 4 family, 7 people.
Yeah, although Boyd and his family really only meant Abby and Ellis.
I don't think
that includes Fatima.
Yeah, I think Boyd. I think Jade.
I don't think it's all the Matthews. I don't think Jim is part of that equation.
I think Tabitha. And I don't think they'll kill Ethan just because I don't think they'll kill the little kid.
Well, it's Tabitha and her progeny, right? It's Tabitha and her children. I agree, it's not Jim. I think Jim could be killed. I think Jim is not. And maybe Sarah. I think maybe Sarah can't be touched.
Maybe.
Wanted, so.
Elgin.
Here's another question, okay? Because we got into this discussion. They had at the beginning of the show, people had questioned how after Sarah got Kenny's father and the other ones that were down in the basement killed, she left and it seemed like it was nighttime. How did she leave? I think that she was allowed to leave because she did what they wanted, so they didn't kill her. That's my opinion.
Back in season 1?
Back in season 1, yeah, towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we were questioning, did Elgin actually put a talisman in that root cellar? Or is she protected because they told him to do that?
I mean, I think if you're carrying a monster baby, the monsters aren't going to kill you.
I
I think she doesn't need a talisman because she has a monster baby inside her.
I thought you thought she wasn't pregnant.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. She's not. She doesn't. The monsters have plans for her.
Yeah.
The monsters have plans for her, and they're not going to kill her right now.
Well, we don't know that it's monsters that have plans for her. Something has plans for her.
I think she's fine, but also I think like this idea that just because we didn't see it happen doesn't mean it didn't. Like it could have. Like he could have done it. Like plenty of stuff happens that we don't see on this show. Like he's had an entire conversation with Kimono Lady off stage, right?
Yeah,
off screen. And it, like more so this season than ever, there's stuff happening that we don't see.
Yeah. And just me saying maybe he took the talisman from the shed. I didn't think of that. I mean, he definitely could have. We were kind of questioning when we were talking, did he have the talisman?
Maybe that room is protected. Maybe the secret room and the whole root cellar. The
root cellar. A lot of things have happened down in that root cellar.
I mean, that the root cellar is where Victor hid before there were talismans. And we've seen visions of 2 dead. Of course, they were dead. So Beard Guy was dead and Boulder Guy was dead, right? So we have seen dead people down there. Or no, we have seen visions of dead people that might or might not be real.
And the body that's down there, that's real.
Was it down there?
The skeleton was in the root cellar. Yeah, it was in that room.
Yeah.
Well, it was down there. Was it down there when he brought? Did Fatima see it? Was it down there?
No, I'm assuming he cleaned that up first.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a vision. I assumed that was a vision. That they showed, like, because Jade's Boulder Guy wasn't there when Elgin went in and saw Beard Guy. Like Boulder Guy.
He uncovered like. Yeah. Now the skeleton was real. I mean, he uncovered it under a blanket. He didn't just like see it. You know, he physically revealed it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. So I don't know what else happened. Is there other stuff we need to cover?
That's it.
Those are the main things. Yeah, I think that's the main stuff. I think that where goes kind of depends on what happens with him having taken Fatima, because like they were so worried about Tilly, and it's like now she's gone.
Well, I mean, I would assume that next week we would see the fallout from this, and it might just be Boyd and Ellis running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to figure out where she is, right? And surely the rest of the town would be, to your point, Jamie, there's a murderer on the loose.
Uh-huh.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they could leave it that way, because I think people wouldn't trust anybody and they'd start killing each other. Like, you think of like Walking Dead and stuff, right? Like, just it would go to chaos, I think.
But Boyd has confessed it's Fatima, right? Now everyone's
he's told Donna. Donna is
who is going to tell everybody else?
Donna said, if you don't tell everyone, I will. Everyone will find out next week, I think. Because Donna said, if you don't tell everyone, I will.
Maybe. That's why I think it depends what happens from this. Like you said,
I think word will get out. I don't see any scenario where Donna can be convinced to keep it a secret. And Donna's correct about that. And now she's missing, and Ellis is going to be in a freak out trying to find her, right? So there's that. And then, I would imagine.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say this isn't related to that, but I was reading what Greg said in the chat about Victor's trauma, that when he saw the bodies, he didn't look traumatized. I think Victor didn't look traumatized just because, like, Victor sort of blanked everything. Like, I don't think Victor knew how to deal with it. I think that's why he started drawing things, because he couldn't deal with it. I think that he did not deal with it in a normal way. But I do think he was traumatized. I just don't think he was like sat there and cried traumatized type of thing. Like
because he was in a state of shock, and then
like it was just sort of like he didn't handle it. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like he didn't sit there and cry. Instead, he just sort of dealt with it because he didn't know what else to do. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like he didn't understand it. And
although to the end of Greg's comment, like, are they the same? I mean, there is really a connection between, Victor, he says his stance was mirrored by Boy and White in the street. I do feel like Victor's weird posture and like eye contact and almost the way he dresses, like I do agree that I kind of see a similarity between Victor and the Boy in White that I can't articulate properly.
It might just be the time they're from too, though.
And are they linked? I mean, they're definitely linked. Are they
definitely linked?
Are they more than linked? Are they? I mean, they're different actors, so we know they're not the same person. But I mean, a different actor from the kid who plays young Victor, right? But yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing that we probably are not going to find out anytime soon. Who that boy is and what he represents.
Oh, this is a good point. I think we had said this like weeks ago, had said something about that and then never went back to it. Said maybe Henry isn't Victor's actual father because he could maybe not remember it. That's a possibility.
I guess.
I mean, I feel though like if that was the case, they probably would have went more into it before. Like, I feel like they've moved on too much from it. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I guess. I mean, when I think back, if I remember what my dad looked like when I was 8 and I didn't have pictures to look back at, and now I'm Victor's age, and I think it's possible though, Ms. Quinn, that is it possible that the person that she, I think the person that Tabitha brought back is Miranda's husband and the person who was raising Henry. Like, are you saying that, is Ms. Quinn saying that Henry isn't Victor's biological father?
I think she's saying that he's not really his father, like they're pretending he's his father.
Oh, that he's like a monster or a
That's what I'm guessing she means. I mean, we're both trying to interpret what a text means. But I mean, it's possible that the town brought somebody, because we also, like, we don't know for sure the town doesn't have reach outside the town. Like, I don't know. It could be not really his father. I think, like I said, I think at this point, because they haven't brought it back around, I think it's probably his father, but
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, it depending upon who you think is on a quest, if this is about a hero's journey in a quest, depending on which character you think is on the quest, if it's Victor, like, why was his father brought to him as a gift or as an obstacle, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. She says that maybe a manifestation,
but not
him.
really.
Yeah, that could make sense too.
Because there is the question of did she really go to Camden, Maine, because she saw the boy in white, or she thought she saw the boy in white in Camden, right?
Uh-huh.
And if she was never there, if she was in the dungeon but having a different experience, if that dungeon is not a physical dungeon but is a metaphysical space, could she have had a different experience when she when she was pushed off the lighthouse? I know it's not the same space, they're not the same buildings, but if that's a possibility, did she even go? And who did she?
Did she not leave the town? You mean?
Yeah, did she not ever leave the town? And that was happening in this sort of dream space. I don't know. But then it begs the question, why she brought Aasta and those. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is an interesting wrong thing that David said, that if it is all in Victor's head, that maybe the Matthews family is the family he wanted, a normal family. I mean, not that it's a great father, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, in his head or not in his head, but they came to a space where he could manifest it.
Yeah, or is it just he's manifesting and caught people up in it?
Yeah.
If Camden is in real life Camden, then why do I always want to say black and white? Then Boy in White can enter our reality and doesn't need Tabitha at all. He could have appeared to Henry in his basement in 40 years to get him directly.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, I definitely don't think the Boy in White was really literally in Camden. I think he's appearing to her, but that is a good point. If he really wanted him there, why couldn't he just
bring Henry?
Unless it's the fact he needed him to physically come there, and Henry isn't going to follow an apparition of a little boy.
Well, we don't know what the rules are to bring people, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. Nobody has blooped there. They all believe they hit this tree, and right, it's not a. I mean, the Boy in White would still have to engineer some plausible thing for Henry to believe. Maybe that's about the human brain needing to have not being able to bloop because you would lose your shit.
Yeah, maybe they have to physically cross the barrier of the tree too. I mean, maybe there's things like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. All right, so you guys, I know we want to hang up. It's time to move on, but I want to, how I always, when we get almost to the end of a season, I often ask you guys, 2 episodes left, who do you think is going to die? Do you think anyone will die, and who will it be? Jamie. Oh, well, Jamie, you can't. Jamie,
yeah, I can't.
Jamie, when you were at this point in the show.
When I watched this, I thought that it was possible Fatima would die. I definitely thought that was a big possibility.
Yeah, that was my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we think will die, or who do we hope will die?
I think Fatima might die. I kind of hope Jim will die.
Hey, that's who I hope will die.
Maybe in a redemptive, redemptive moment.
Do you think though, even maybe Elgin could die? Because I also thought it was a possibility, depending on the outcome of that.
I think we need to see the ramifications of Elgin's decisions.
Yeah, I think just see season or episode 9.
I think we would see whatever happens, how that plays out for Elgin. I don't think Elgin gets resolved. I mentioned to you already, a lot of people have died this season, not just true red shirts, but people, who had names and lines, right? But yeah, I think Jim, Fatima, I mean, we have a lot of characters now, and it's always good to pare some of them down, which the show has done. 3 people dead already, at least this season. Jim, Fatima. I mean, other people have more story.
Yeah.
Maybe. And we have a half dozen that we think are untouchable and can't die.
Yeah. Any other predictions you guys have? I'm curious what else you guys think might happen.
I think Elgin will take a shower.
Leave poor Elgin alone.
I mean, if Jim doesn't die, we could see a season 4 scenario where they split up, where maybe Tabitha and Jim kind of split up. I don't know. I just want him to go.
Or at the very least, stop being a dick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's had a little moment and he's going to come around. And I can't even begin to. So they did such a good job with the cliffhangers in the past that I can't imagine what kind of cliffhanger they'll leave us on. I just can't imagine what they're going to give us. Like, we all were so shocked when Tabitha got pushed out of that tower, right?
Well, whatever it is, all our guests have all said the same thing. So
they all say
pretty good,
right? They're all like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, and that's where I say that people, if you see the leaks, don't ruin it for yourself, because it's a really good end, and I think that some people are doing that, and I think that you're not going to enjoy it if you do it. Wouldn't do that. Like, just wait, watch it. You can wait 2 weeks.
I'm not clicking on anything with the word "from" in it for the next 2 weeks.
I don't even click on my chat with my 2 friends when I see the word "from" in it.
That's true. That's true. We have to be very careful, just with each other. So, all right. Well, this was a great chat. Great. We have 235 comments, which I can't read them all and click through these photos. So I have to go back and reread the chat, I think, because all y'all have so many like great ideas and theories. And
sorry if we missed you. We couldn't get to quite all of them, but do come back. We have our show on Friday this week. Once again, I'll remind everybody, and this is also all on the community thing of the YouTube page and on X. Although I don't have up the newest one, I got to mark it. But this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Hannah, who plays Julie. And then next week on Tuesday again, we have at 8 o'clock, we have Chloe, who plays Christy, coming. And then at 9 o'clock, we have Avery, who plays Sarah. And then the following Tuesday on the 26th, we have Elizabeth, who plays Donna. Did we miss anybody? I feel like
no.
Oh, and then I said we also have Pega, who's going to be coming, but we're still scheduling.
And so we're going to have Donna post finale, so we can talk like everything.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk all the.
I mean, she still only is going to spend a limited time with us, but we can really, Yeah.
But you guys also can check out all the other interviews on our YouTube, and also I am briefly talking to Cordian tomorrow, who plays Ellis. If people have questions for him, you can you can leave them on X. I had made a post about it. And somebody was asking about, I think you pronounce his name Ian, who plays Jim. He was supposed to be doing some junket, but isn't right now. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but still, kind of trying to get everybody. And to answer your question, Miss Quinn, if you go to Scifi-vision.com, I've been doing this for a long time, not just from, there's all kinds of interviews that I'm a journalist, and that's.
Yeah. If this is your first night with us, usually we cover maybe 3 or 4 science fiction-y kind of shows, but nothing's on right now. Next week, we will, after our From interviews, we're going to recap From, but we'll also recap Silo and Dune are both back next week. Yeah. Well, Silo's back, Dune is premiering, right?
Dune starts, yeah. But please if you can, like and subscribe, would appreciate it. And also on Sunday, I will be back with Julie again doing the deep dive at 10:30 after the live tweet for the next episode, where we go even further into it, further than Karen and AJ want to listen to me talk about, right?
I fell asleep at 9:30 this week, so I couldn't join you. I was too tired.
No, that's okay. We stayed way too long though. And I'm not sure if it's Walking Dead, if David's coming back again or not, but he was on our show last time. But all these other streams you can, of course, find under the live tab on our YouTube. Yes, Silo is good. We talked about Silo last season.
And so if you're watching
that again,
watching it, come and join us.
I know what I was going to say. I forgot. I'm also will be doing a brief interview with Catalina too again, who plays Tabitha. So you
So
can
in
send me
all-
questions for her too. I just haven't tweeted it yet because I got confirmed today. I haven't gotten
not
a
on
chance.
the show. You'll do that.
Not on
interview.
the show, no. Cordian and her so far are not coming on the show. Those are just regular interviews, but those are coming. And
Okay.
trying to think what else is there. What else is coming out? I know. I was gonna say I have Cruel Intentions tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't gotten a chance yet. I got to go watch all the screeners. There's a new series for it.
No, we've got. Do you all think Holston's really dead? No, Miss Quinn, I don't. But we're gonna. I guess we'll find
talk
out.
about that next week.
Recap it next week. We'll recap Silo, Dune. We're not recapping before, but Jamie and I are watching it.
Yeah.
Although I'm convinced that's reincarnation.
Wait, what I was going to say isn't and I know we're not necessarily going to talk about it, but I think Cross is.
Alex Cross comes out next week, also. Yeah.
Yeah, Cross comes out on the 14th.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if anybody cares, but I'm waiting to see Wizarding Baking Championship 2. That's my other show I want to see. Not that we're going to talk about it, but.
Yep. All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
thanks everybody for coming. Hopefully we'll see you again Tuesday or Sunday, whichever,
or Friday with our next From interview.
Yeah, Friday with Hannah, and like I said, updates on X, links on the screen. Everything's on Sci-Fi-vision. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming, and thanks, guys, for talking. It was great.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you again, Miranda, for the donations both nights. Appreciate it.
Oh, and thanks to NDB Media for hosting us here on StreamYard. We appreciate that.
Yes, we definitely do.
Bye.
All right.
Night.
Good night, guys.